Hi, guys. Love you both
Love you
so
too.
much. How's everyone doing today?
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. So kind of, I don't know. I kind of disappointed in some people. Just people wanted to remain neutral with this whole thing, and
It's incredible.
I'm just letting it go. I'm just letting that go. People will do what they will, and here we are.
Exactly. Oh, well, all we ever can do, Justin, is be the lighthouse because those rocky shoals are everywhere, and that's our duty. No thanks, and that's totally okay because we get our thanks from another place.
Right.
So
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's so all good. It's so all good. I sent an email to both of you just about 5 minutes ago. And Justin, if you can help Marie to do that, I would love to start the show this way today. So it's a so it's a YouTube link to a video with lyrics, just a 3-minute song to start, and then it's a singular image and quote from Lady Gaga, which is the antithesis of the song, and it's basically driving home what we're talking about, that it's time to choose sides, and the one side is love, but it's through the truth, and
Yeah.
the other.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm happy to help with that. Marie, do you want me to walk you through how to share with sound? I mean, y'all did that before, so I think you have an idea.
What if I made you the host?
Yeah, that works too.
I'm going to do that.
yeah, the key thing with Zoom and sharing screen, when you go to share screen, button down or two boxes down that just have to be picked so that the audio and the video properly.
Okay. So yeah, whenever you're ready, Marie, just go ahead and hit that go live button and we'll hop right in.
Okay. Right on.
Right on, man. I love it. That's
Right
60s, man. I love it. I love it.
When I moved to San
And the thing
Francisco,
is,
wearing a shirt that said "Make love, not war."
oh,
And
fantastic.
we're
And
live. Hey everybody.
those great. Right, right on, man.
Right
I love
on. Get it right.
That's 60s, man.
Right
I love it.
on.
I love it.
When I
And
moved
the
to
thing
San
is,
Francisco, wearing a shirt that said "Make love, not war."
Oh, fantastic.
And we're live. Hey everybody.
Great.
I love the
Right.
cacophony.
Right on, man.
Right
I love
on. What is Get it happening?
it.
Right.
That's 60s, man.
Right
I love it.
on.
I love
What's
it.
happening? When I
And
moved
the
to
thing
San
is,
Francisco,
Here, I just
that,
muted you for a second, Marie, while you get that all sorted.
that had to be from God, by the way. That was so cool.
Hey everybody. Thanks for hopping on. You got it all sorted, Marie? Kind of. Okay. I'll let you unmute yourself whenever you're ready. But yeah, yeah, thanks for hopping on. We're excited for another fantastic show today, and thanks for flipping over to Marie's channel. I think we're gonna do a back and forth every week, just to diversify. We're gonna make sure we upload the whole series on each channel so that you can watch. You know, we can have playlists set up on each channel to do that, but it'd be good to diversify and keep everyone on your toes.
I don't know about that. I'm definitely not. We were on the phone last night, for more than an hour. We meant to get on and talk tech stuff, and then we got into all of the other things, and we're just having such a laugh. And I was trying to figure out the tech things this morning, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually quite nervous about this. So anyway, thanks for bearing with me as I sort it out. It's so wonderful to know that Justin's got my back on this. It was like 11 o'clock for you, and we got on the phone, and we were just like, it was hilarious. And it just really speaks to all of this right now and just how fun it is actually to be meeting online and to really be meeting our soul family. It's just
Mhm.
like, the brother I've always wanted. So yeah, thanks for that,
Yeah.
Justin.
Of course, anytime.
It's so true.
It's so true. Well, Charlie, it's you. It's you.
And you
We're
know, Marie,
laughing about you.
you look so beautiful today, and you look. I think you look beautiful every day. But there's you have such a really heavenly glow about you, and it's beautiful to see. And remember, we were talking to Justin before the show about this as well, and that ultimately that's the only gift that we can really bestow on others is the best version of ourselves, and that's when we do that, then we illuminate that light within us and we let it shine out. We let it shine on. Think of how many great rock stars and rock bands that have created songs with the lyrics or the title "Shine On." It's what it's all about. It's what it's all about. It's our gift to everyone else. Is when everyone else is feeling low, we have to be high. And you know, once again, just quickly to address the stuff with me going crazy. It's crazy because I'm crazy for the truth, and that we'll find out as we proceed through the Bible here that in the words of Jesus Christ, that the truth is healing, lies are the division. So you have to ask yourself, who's dividing this community and who's trying to heal it? Oops. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Man.
I was rereading chapter 7 last night, and just wow, how relevant is it? How
I
relevant
know,
is it?
right?
So
5, 6,
good.
7 today. 5, 6,
Yeah,
7.
it's so good. All of it's so good. Okay.
So good.
Do we want to well, first
Yeah.
I wanted to say a couple things, just administrative stuff. So I had made a post on Facebook about taking notes for this show. So I want to put that out there. If anyone feels up to the task of typing out notes for this show, um, and this can be multiple people, because I think if we had a collaborative effort, this could be really helpful. But my idea with this is to eventually get a place to where we can have a collaborative document, to where I'll probably be the only one who edits it, or Marie and I will be the only ones who edit it, and Charlie. But it'll be a place where we can store all these notes for each show and just kind of keep adding to them as we go along, so that everyone who wants a little reminder of what we've covered each week, or maybe didn't get time to tune in to the whole thing, will get to do that. But I don't have time to sit down and write notes for this whole show. So I really need y'all's help if we want to make that work. So just keep that in mind. If you feel up to the task and you want to type out notes for this, it would be much appreciated. And if you do, please, and I'll put the email in the show notes, but please send it over to the email innerstandingtruth@gmail.com. And that's going to be kind of like our collaborative email for this show and for other things as well. So yeah, just wanted to say that. And yeah, thanks for being here.
That's awesome. I think it's really important. We could have like a Google Doc just going.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was thinking. Because with Google Doc, you can actually have it to where you can have a certain amount of editors, and then everyone else is able to comment, so that we could just have the three of us edit it, and then everyone else could be able to comment and add input and ask questions and different things like that. So I think that'd be a great approach. You're muted, Marie. I don't know if. Okay. Yeah.
all right.
So
Google it up.
yeah. For now, until better things come around. So yeah, should we
Right.
jump right into that video clip? We ready for that?
That would be great. So that's the dichotomy of this world. The first song is and I always love this because Bad Company is considered one of the more hard rocking bands there is, and they only wrote about God and Jesus Christ. And this song is about raising Christ within you. And then when we finish it, there's just a quick quote from Lady Gaga, which would be the antithesis of this song. So that's rather incredible, and I know most most everyone now is ready to fully understand the combination of the sound, the music, and the lyrics, how they work in sympathy and harmony with one another. And he's done the work, he's paid his dues, and he's screaming from the top of his lantern that he's ready for love. And then the middle part of the song, which could be a great guitar solo, it's just a beautiful piano melody that, if you notice, is slightly ascending in the background. So it's very, very humble. It is not as boastful at all. It's very humility filled. And then at the end of the song, it's silence. It's just, you hear the beautiful drum work, and it's just silence. And the person who wrote these songs, the lyrics for these songs for Bad Company, is Paul Rogers, and he's their singer as well, and keyboardist, and he's a very switched on guy. We're going to be doing a number of Bad Company songs. So yeah, always with these masters, notice how they tie in the music profoundly with the lyrics. And with those lyrics, again, you have to declare your love for God. There's an incredible quote today from Melissa Farrell, who's in our chat group right now. Melissa, sweet Melissa, and we're going to be doing that song very soon and dedicating it to Melissa as well, from the Allman Brothers. Sweet Melissa, she had an incredible quote earlier today, and essentially, you have to declare your love for God, and then God responds, because it's free will. The God cannot and will not force you to love him. You have to willingly love God, and you have to willingly end your path of the prodigal son and return home on that straight and narrow way. Once you declare your love for God, then God responds eternally. But he's just waiting in tears and pain, because you are his prized creation. And here's the key. Remember the key. I always say the key is meditation, going within, but the ultimate key inside, once you go within, is Jesus Christ. That's when you unlock the Christed one within you, and that chrism rises. That's, where that expression that the cream always rises to the top, that's Jesus Christ. He was the cream, the creme de la creme, the peaches on regalia. Frank Zappa, peaches on regalia is that raising of the chrism within you. It is the highest heights, the nobility of nobles. It is the reason why we're here. So it's a beautiful song, and Ready for Love means that he has invoked Christ consciousness within him. And I want to share that, because so many people just want to disparage the music industry with a huge roller and just say, nope, all evil. It was just all evil. And the reality is that it was filled with goodly, godly souls that were desperately trying to get these messages through to you, and hoping that you would unlock what they had to encode. And that they had to encode these messages. And that's the insane world that we're tearing down right now, brick by brick, just as Jesus said, so that in the end, not a single stone will be left standing. You want to go back to Washington, D.C. and the White House? Then you better cleanse it for decades and decades and decades to clean that evil out. So Justin, can you put up that quote from Lady Gagme?
Lady Gaga.
And we'll let Marie read it, for if Marie can, if you can see that.
It's hard. This lady really rubs me.
Yeah.
Okay, I operate from a place of delusion. That's what the fame is all about. I want people to walk around delusional about how great they can be, and then to fight so hard for it every day that the lie becomes the truth.
And so there you go, my friends. That is the antithesis to to Jesus Christ. That's the antithesis to God. And that is the antithesis to Justin and Marie. They don't stand for that nonsense. And this is why we stand united together in trying to heal everyone through the truth, because it is the way. It is the only way. Jesus Christ, who is the light of the world, was the most honest person you've ever met. And that's why he rubbed people the wrong way, because they're going in the wrong direction. He was magnetic, they're electrical, and their paths shall not meet. So thank you for reading that, Marie, because that's just a gross statement to even read. But that's why we have to take this seriously. So let me pass it back over to you guys if you want to make comments about either the song or that quote.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it the past couple shows, but it's really important to stress that when we dip into this sort of relativistic way of thinking where I can create my truth and that is the truth, where I can live a lie that somehow that transcends the collective consciousness and becomes reality. It's very dangerous because, and you know, another term for it, there's moral relativism, which you can term it, or there's solipsism, which is another term for it. And this is just this idea that I I am that I am that I mean, really, when you boil it down, those are many forms of Satanism, because Satanism is all about the worship of self above all else. To say that I create my whole reality and it's indifferent to what's around me, it's indifferent to the creation. It's completely relative, which that's to the T. That's what Satanists believe at their very core. That's what allows them to get away with feeling like they can do whatever they want, have justification to pursue whatever means to whatever ends, because it's all about them. It's all about the individual. It's all about defining, how you fit into it, and defining reality based on that, instead of recognizing that we are all part of the one creation, but given to us by God, and we are operating within this beautiful creation in order to co-create and do so together. So that's a really like fundamental difference, and we have to be really careful when we slip into these ideas of my truths and relativism and this kind of thing, because these ideas are planted there. They're very much pushed by these same organizations that do have satanic roots, that do have Satanism at the very tops, because they want to trick as many people into this way of thinking as possible. They want to trick as many good intentioned people into believing that somehow I can, bend my reality to negate any of these moral laws that are very much powerfully in effect. And when we negate God's laws, when we pretend like they don't exist and that we can somehow operate outside of them, then all of a sudden we get stuck in a lot of pitfalls. We start accruing a lot of karma that we don't truly understand, because we feel like somehow we've stepped outside of that. And that's why they do it, because if they can convince enough people to slip down that slippery slope and into that way of thinking, they have more minions to get to do whatever they want, just like Lady Gaga. I mean, she's been programmed to be that sort of way. And also, when we're in a state of turmoil, when we're in a state of chaos, because we're not in alignment with the truth, with God's truth, with the way that this creation is set up, then we have no understanding on what we do and how it comes across, and how it plays out. And so we're just always in this state of, I can't figure anything out. I can't get anything to work for me. I don't know why nothing ever happens. Or it's because you're not aligning with the truth. You're trying to bend the truth to your will, instead of recognizing that there is one and only truth. And we have to see that, and when we operate within that truth, that's where the true creative flow happens. That's where that true creative essence can manifest things so beautifully and so perfectly. But we can't go against the grain in that sort of way. We have to recognize that there is one truth, and we have to go in alignment to it. Yeah. So yeah, just wanted to say that.
It's powerful. You know, I think that the music always brings us back to feeling. And I think when you look at someone like Lady Gaga and what she's putting forth, basically saying that I'm delusional and I want you to be delusional too, then you're not going to feel in alignment to that God consciousness, that Christ consciousness. And when you're not feeling in alignment to that, you're in fear, you're in those vibrations, you're in a lower frequency. And then in that lower frequency, you're right, like Justin said, you're not able to create anything real, because you're vibing at such a low frequency. You're literally delusional, and then we're celebrating delusion. That's what the old world's about. And so it is going to be a small amount of us that are not going to let our kids listen to Lady Gaga, and are going to put our foot down and say, no, like, you look at this person, like, look at what's become of her. She didn't start that way, but look at what happened. I mean, if I watched her documentary a couple of years ago too, and it was this poor woman. I mean, wow, her body, just everything that she was put through for the fame, how you sell your soul for the fame, and how defaming it is to the truth of who you are. So it's actually really, really sad. It's a very sad situation. And it's important that we come back to the true music, because the true music, like that song, I felt it. I felt it. I felt how it lifted my frequency. It lifted my heart. I felt safe. I felt comforted. I felt aligned to my creator. And that's natural. Like, I don't know how we've become so accustomed to the state of fear being natural. Like, we're supposed to be defensive. We're supposed to be all of these things. And that's why so many people are having a hard time with the content from this week, because the truth shines the light on your ego. And if you're invested in your ego, it's going to hurt. If the truth shines the light on your ego and you go, oh, good, there it is, take that away, the benefits of that are you get to rise, you get to lift your energy. And so that's what we're trying to encourage all of us in this community to do, is to stop letting your frequency get put down because you're attached to things being a certain way. The truth is the truth. It's not changeable. We don't get to make it up, and we don't get to change it. And that's a blessing. It really is, because then we just get to follow the truth. We didn't create ourselves. We get to go with the flow of God. And that's a frequency that is so wonderful to be in. It feels so amazing. And that's what we're going for in terms of heaven on earth. It's a feeling. It's, oh, wow, I'm safe here. I'm in the light. I'm embraced by that energy. And if you're embraced in the delusion, you'll know it by the way that you feel. And so it really does become about getting really super clear on how do you want to feel. If you want to feel in fear, you will get sick and you will suffer. And that's just the way it's set up. So we didn't make up the rules, but we do have an opportunity to learn how they work. And that's what God's will is all about, is when you align to God's will, then you're safe. And the people like Lady Gaga, you want nothing to do with that, because you see it for what it is. It's delusional. It's a miscreation. It's a misuse of the power of the children of God. It's a misuse of the music. It's a misuse of her gifts and talents. She could have used them in a very different way. Probably wouldn't have had the fame and all of the following and all of that. But that's sad. And that's the future, is that we don't need to put our energy anymore into that. We really need to realize how powerful we are. And that's like, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not going to watch that. Why would I put that into my vibration? It will lower me. It will make me feel terrible. There's no other word for that. You just feel terrible in that vibration of fear. It's horrendous because it's not natural. I just want to hone that in. It's just not natural. Your natural state of being is in the presence of God and light and uplifted, and feeling that's natural. The joy, the bliss. The rest of this is unnatural. It's not appropriate. It's gross. It's straight up gross. She's gross. I'm sorry, Lady Gaga, you're gross. Really. Sad.
And that's okay, because you're speaking the truth, and she made a choice. So it's all about free will. So, and that was so beautifully. And what Justin said, what Marie just said, I mean, you guys don't even need me at all. You see this so clearly, and you speak so brilliantly. It's just such a pleasure and honor to be here with you every show, every week. It's fantastic, ultimate wisdom. And so maybe it was just a song about a girl. And It works at that level too. That's why, because people who are penitent and humble before God, they need to make their work accessible to everyone, and they know that it's a journey. So they need to make it accessible for you at that root Muladhara chakra base level, where we take everything literally. We're spoon fed from society, and so at that level, they kind of make it work. And it's a beautiful love song. But when you begin to think from this brain, remember, the most important thing is to see the brain for what it is, which is the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. But there is a linear aspect to the brain as well, and that is what Marie was talking about, is the fight or flight mechanism, lower reptilian brain here. Then there's the midbrain, which I've shared with you, is the lazy brain, and that's where your subconscious lies. And if you reside there and you're distracted, then your VCR plays out your reality for you. Everything you've ever recorded plays itself back out for you. And that's advertisement, that's ads, and that's teachers, and that's doctors, and that's famous people, and they rule your world when you're in that lazy brain. And that's where virtually everybody here, very people are here. That's why people, Edgar Allan Poe was the very first to create fiction, like it's fiction. But the character of a detective, the very first one was C. Auguste Dupin, who is the very first fictional detective, and that was from Edgar Allan Poe. Brilliant guy, brilliant stuff. You need to read Poe, you need to know Poe. Poe was from a specific bloodline. He was sent to America to be indoctrinated into these Freemason teachings and likely beyond. And Poe ran away. He ran away from wealth and privilege, and he wrote about this the rest of his life. And in Edgar Allan Poe's writings, which eventually, when I have time, I'll go through as many of them as I can because they're brilliant. He broke apart the Illuminati, and he explained the tale of connecting to God. And in all of those stories, they're horror stories because that's what's inside of our head. What's inside of our minds with the ego and the left brain is a horror story. That's what he wrote. He didn't write horror stories. He wrote human physiology stories is what he wrote. And that's why Arthur Conan Doyle created Sherlock Holmes. That's why Agatha Christie created Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple, to encourage you to think for yourselves here. That's being ahead of the game. And A is alpha, and that's first, and that's God. That's the God brain right here. And if you take a side view and you look, you'll see the bird head of God in each and every one of us, and how that works. And that's that frontal lobe. And that's what most people don't use anymore. And you have been trained not to use. You're punished if you use your frontal lobe, and you're rewarded for being here. And when somebody comes along and says, hey, you shouldn't be drinking that Coca-Cola with aspartame, and you should not be murdering an animal, to have a snack food for yourself while you're watching this show that's programming your mind, that's entering, holding, and controlling your mind. It's like, hey man, get out of my face. You're just so ungodly. You're just, wow. Can't stand you, get away from me. And you're invading the comfortability of what Roger Waters wrote with Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb. That's what he's saying about the wall. You have to be on the right side of the wall, because if you're not on the right side of the wall, you're on the left side of the wall, and then they've got you comfortably numb. That's the whole point of the game. That's Lady Gaga, so that in the end, you fight yourself for her, for the cabal, for the devil, for Satan. You fight for them, and you fight against yourself, and you fight against God to be delusional. So brilliant stuff, guys. And so in the song, are there clues? Are there clues? Well, like I said, the music in and of itself is humble. It's beautiful, it's humble. There is no ego in that. And remember, Bad Company is a group of incredible musicians. And I'm just trying to think of the guitar player's name, Simon. But he's a great guitar player as well. And, he could have played one of those egoic guitar solos, but that's not what they did, because it's a penitent song to God. So that's a clue. And when you look at, and you take the time to look at the lyrics, when I walking down this rocky road, wondering where my life is leading, that's every one of us past the age of 8, past the age of 9, where we're not connected to our God consciousness. That's all of us rolling on to a bitter end. That's what they have, virtually everyone believing that that's all you have is some bitter end. Falling out along the way, finding out along the way that what it takes to keep love living, well, you should know how it feels, my friend. This person has no friends. You can hear it in the song. They're lonely on a rocky road leading to a bitter end. There's no friends. Where's that friend? That friend is inside. And you find out along the way is Jesus Christ. So these are all codes in the song, and you come to know. And then I want you to stay. This is what the Bible talks about, is this invitation of the 5 virtuous virgins who are inviting the bridegroom to stay with them forever. And that's what you have to do. You just have to make that invitation. So every word is a clue, every word. But if you don't know the Bible, and you don't know the Bhagavad Gita or the Quran or the Sutras or the Vedas or the Upanishads, if you don't know these sacred documents, then you won't get these references. And that's on you, not on, well, maybe they just wrote about a girl. Maybe, and that's okay, but maybe that's what you know. And maybe you need to do more to know more. And when you know more, you have to do more with what you know. And that means experiencing this world. Now, the choices are yours. Remember what Colleen and I have shared with everyone. What did we do when we stripped away all the lies and we were left with nothing? What did we do? We went to the most ancient books, scriptures, cultures, and we learned from them. And then, I'm not kidding you, in weeks, we were like, wow, it's all the same. They're all telling the same. How is this possible? They're all different name, but it's all the same story. And then we were just like, we found it, like somehow, so now we got to learn it. We have to learn this. We have to really, really learn this. But my God, we're on to something here. Yeah, every ancient culture is telling one story. But we live in a reality today where there's a dime store guru around every single corner, and they're all placating you by saying, oh, bad man, strife, division. Go home, go inside. Yeah, and just, you've got your truth. Bask in your truth. Yeah. Have some Baskin Robbins and, a cowsicle or something like that. Yeah, have a beer and a glass of wine. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. And it's not all good. You have to take this seriously. I cannot stress this enough. You never kill the ego. You win for a day. And then the next morning, the same challenge awaits you every single day. So when Colleen and I started with the Chrism oil, we were like, okay, what's our sun sign? What are our 3 days? Okay, when are these 3 days? We got to prepare for this. We just have to prepare. And it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. And then it just came to us. It's not happening because we have to be this way all the time. And that every day is a choice. Every day you wake up, the choice is yours. And there's a world out there, and you can bow to it or you can bow to God. And I'm not kidding. That is a very powerful statement, because it's very true. If you are penitent and humble and bow before that level sun in the eastern sky every single morning, you'll have a great day. I guarantee you will have a great day. But when you get out of bed and you ignore the eastern sky and you offer yourselves up as a sacrifice to the altar of everything that is specious, you're going to have a rocky road wandering on to a bitter end. That's the story. That's their story, right? How are you fighting us on any of this stuff? You got a choice. Theirs is you wander alone, melancholy down a lonely road to a bitter end, or or you inherit the one true family. You live in love forever. Which one do you want? You've just been indoctrinated for so long, it's just painful to change, but change you must do. So with that, thank you everyone. And Marie, Justin, back over to you. We can jump into Matthew anytime you're ready.
I think that was all a really great segue. I think we were finishing chapter 5, and I just had a little peek and thought we could speak to, you've heard it said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn him the other also. I think that's very interesting. An eye for an eye. Most people on the planet have heard of that, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. With all of this happening right now, it seems like that's our struggle, is this using the Bible to accept a lot of evil and saying, oh, we'll turn the other cheek. And that's later in here. Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love them which love you, what reward have you? Do not even the public. Anybody want to jump in on this? Let's break this one up a little bit.
Really quickly, what Marie, is referring to, one of the things remember how I said everything that I do is a calm for you, and you can go back over all these things and you'll see all these little calms, and they're linked to one another and they grow, and they're meant to be that way. It's like hints along the way. And one of the things is that by doing this, I knew that Charlie Ward would respond a certain way. And so what's the very first thing that he did? And of course, he publicly put it on his site today, which is, running to lawyers and threatening with a lawsuit. What we've always said is we want, and what I said publicly is we want Charlie to be the best version of Charlie Ward and shine that light on all of us, because he has a lot to offer, and that would be wonderful if that enlightened soul was part of this process. That would be beautiful. So that was our response. Charlie's response was, I'm gonna sue you if you say another word. So and if any man will sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. Give to him that asketh thee from him what would borrow of thee, turn not thou away. Ye have heard that it has been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Once again, what Colleen and I have tried to show you is that in this blast of light that was done this week, and the taking of thine rod and casting it upon the vast desert wasteland that's out there, all that we've done is we've said there is a massive divide between what is right and what is wrong, between what is the truth and what are lies. And what Charlie and Colleen are saying, it's time for you to pick a side. So we did all of that risk. We don't have any subscribers, but We risked all of our subscribers, we risked all of our friends, we risked all of our followers. And for what? To give you a chance to declare thyself before April Fool's Day. You don't want to be a fool. You don't want to be on the wrong side of this past April 1st. We are coming to the resurrection of Christ. We are in Lent. We are now 3 days into Lent. And I cannot stress to you enough how serious all of these things are. And very soon I will be releasing all of this stuff with Santos and myself about the lie of Easter and the truth of Passover and what Jesus is really, really teaching and sharing with us. And what we have to do is we have to be right inside. So the yeast, which is rising, this putrid stench inside of us has to go. So we have to take that dough out of our body and we have to replace it with a fresh lump from God. And then and that is unleavened because of course it's upon the level. And so that's manna from heaven. So we have to be humble to receive the manna from heaven. And to do that, again, we have to be on the right side of these things. So everything that we've done this week is designed for everyone as a gift. It may not seem like it, may seem like, it came at the exact wrong time for you, but it's the exact right time for God and for mankind. And through this week, Marie, Justin, myself, Colleen, we've shown patience and tolerance and understanding and love and care and compassion for everything except lies. And that goes for Charlie Ward as well, who has a beautiful self inside of him and has a lot to offer. And it's that highest form that we want to see being shared brilliantly with everyone else. And that's who we have to be. This anger and the judgment and the resentment and taking things out against the messenger. No, it's the message. It's the message. Don't miss the message, because that's what it's all about. It's the message. So Marie, thank you for intuiting to start on this passage, because it fits exactly in to where we left off last week and kind of fits together what I did this week. If anyone can see that. So go ahead, Justin, Marie.
Yeah, well, I sorry, Marie, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so this portion of the Bible is often used to sort of define Jesus as this passive individual and to say that we should be passive in everything and just let people do as they will. And I just want to make it clear that this is not about letting it lie, but it's about standing in the truth no matter what. Standing in the truth no matter what, and that includes calling out the lies. But it's not about, it's where it refers to turn the other cheek. It's referring to not getting personal, like not attacking people, not attacking individuals in that sort of way. If someone comes at me personally because I've spoken the truth and I've exposed a lie, then I'm not to attack them as a person, but I am to continue standing in that truth, in the truth, and continue exposing that lie regardless. And so that's where it gets obfuscated, that message to turning us into this, if you follow Jesus, you've just got to be passive and just let it be, and whatever, they're going to do that. They're going to keep raping those kids and whatever else. Oh, well, we just got to be passive and all of that. No, fuck that. Fuck that. Like, you stand in the truth and call that stuff out. But you don't go to slinging arrows at people just because they've believed the lies. You don't go slinging arrows at people because they have been fooled or are attacking them personally. So that's we really just want to get clear on that, because that's what's being said here. That's what I'm getting, at least. So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Well, and just let's read verse 37. This is the key to what, and that's everything that Justin just said, but you have to know what's being said here. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. What's being said? What's being said? What do yea, yea, and nay, nay represent? And what does Jesus mean saying anything more than that is that pathway to evil? Yes, yes is right, and yes is truth, and nay is left, it's wrong, and it is the opposite. So just what's being said here is that your purpose in life is to resonate, because we're energy. And so you're going to say yay, yay, or nay, nay, but let it not be more than that. For if it is, then you're thinking. And if you're thinking, you're lost. Because guess what? The thinking part of all of this is being done by the cabal. They are thinking for you. And don't kid yourselves, they absolutely are. From the moment you're born, what you listen to is what they approve. What you're reading, like again, most parents are singing nursery rhymes to children that are just horrific. They're reading their children Grimm's fairy tales. Like, they don't necessarily mean anything by it, but that's just what other people do, so they're doing, and that's what being a good parent is. Remember what we said, if you're on the path that is following the many, turn and run in the opposite direction. Because reading your kids the grim fairy tales is grim, is really, really grim. And some of these nursery rhymes that you're reading are a perversion of the one story, of the one journey. You know, when the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, down will come cradle, baby, and all. Wow, that's perverting the one story. That's perverting you wearing a crown, and they're saying that you're a broken crown lying on the ground for them to collect. So when you think, when you go beyond yay, yay, or nay, nay, you're in a world of trouble. And so that passage, is as much as any other passage in chapter 5, is so key, because all you have to do is say, yes, I'm in, or no, I'm not. And beyond that, let God do everything else. Your job is to resonate with your energy to what comes your way. So if you keep your energy high, you're only, by default, you're only ever going to resonate that is which is high, which will raise you up. But if your energy is low, that is what's going to keep you rooted in your uncles in Egypt. So it's your choice. It's absolutely your choice. But that is such a key passage, because if you go beyond yay, yay, or nay, nay, you're in a world of trouble. Take no thought for your life. We're about to enter into this magical chapter 6. We're about to enter in. That's the key passage to the entire Bible. Take no thought for your life. Yay, yay, or nay, nay.
Yeah, beautifully said. And just wanted to add on to as well, you know, it's this last section of chapter 5, it's also referencing that internal strife as well. So when we stand in the truth and we stand in our righteousness, no matter what, we inevitably will be attacked to some degree or another, because that's the world that we're leaving, and that's the world that we're exposing. But standing in that, don't take it personally when people do have those kind of attacks. You know, don't let that, you know, it was mentioned earlier in chapter 5 about not arguing with fools who want to just bring you into those sort of arguments, because just for the sake of argument. Because as soon as you do that, then you start entering into your egoic mind, your left brain, and that's when they've got you. That's when they've got you stooping down to that level of vibration. So stand in truth, say the truth, and then let it be. And so yeah, just wanted to add that on too.
Thank you, Justin. And look at the very end of chapter 5, everyone, just verses 47 and 48. If ye salute your brethren only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Do you know what the publicans are, or what the publicans represent? They're tax collectors, tax gatherers. And that's an allegory. That's an allegory, of course. And it's an allegory for those who will take away from you. But you see, you have to allow, you have to comply to allow, because the way, the very natural state of your creation is that no one can take away anything from you. Even if somebody attempts to take your physicality from you, they can't take the seed of your soul. They can't take the essence of you. That is something that no one can ever take away, strip away, or diminish. Only you can. And then, of course, if someone tries to take your physicality away, you're immediately replicated with a brand new Galaxy class starship, a star cruiser once again. And if somebody locks you in a prison, the very first person, and they throw away the key, the very first person that shows up is God. What do you think is being said in the Count of Monte Cristo? Go into thy cave. Go into thy cave and become a priest, become a saint, become a man who is devout in thy Father. That's what the Count of Monte Cristo is. And when you exit from that cave, let it be in righteousness. And that is, you know, Dante, this is what he had to learn. He had to learn to let go. And then see, the essence of the Count of Monte Cristo is the very end of chapter 5, isn't it? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which in heaven is perfect. We can all be perfect. And then you listen to that and you go, that's crazy, because I know myself and I know my life, and I've been anything but perfect in my life. Exactly, because that's a message, that's a calm, that's a cue drop. That's a cue drop. That's a message to you to say, that's right. There's two ways of doing this. You can do it on the valley floor and have no, see, and God doesn't do this because he hates you. He's just giving you a choice. And our choice when we think for ourselves is from the valley floor. I can't see past my property wall. I can't see past the mountains that are all around us. I would be the worst person to give somebody advice as to what's beyond those mountains, because I don't know. I'm on the valley floor. I have to get high. When you get high, it takes you to God, who sees all, because he's in heaven above thee. And so you see, it's all an allegory. It's all literal, but it's all an allegory as well. But it's all literal, but it's all an allegory as well. It's incredible. So when you read the Count of Monte Cristo, it's like reading the book of Matthew in chapters 5 and 6. That's exactly what he used as inspiration to write the Count of Monte Cristo. It's learning to turn thy other cheek. So let me repeat this one more time so that we can get the fullness of this message. If ye salute your brethren only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans, these people who are trying to take away from you, do so? Be ye therefore perfect. So in other words, what is clearly being said? If ye salute your brethren only. Guess what? We're all brothers and all sisters. And I've explained this to you. No matter how much it may hurt, our parents are rents of the pairs. They're a pair of rents. They are here to play a role to guide us. And so many of them do an incredible job. And your love and dedication to them is just and is beautiful. But they're not, I do not bestow consciousness. I have consciousness within me, but I do not bestow God consciousness. Only God does. And everything comes from the mother, and everything when it dies returns back to the mother. So the father and the mother are our real mother. Therefore, we're all brothers and sisters. So when you see that when you love your brethren only, you're not in lack, and there will be no tax collector coming to you, because how could there be? You are in unison with everyone else. And then what you learn is that consciousness is in all living things. So all sentient life is related to us. So if mankind and all the men and the women are our brothers and sisters, then all of the animals and all of the insects and all of the birds and the bees and everything else, they're our cousins and nephews and nieces, and it's all just a big extended family. When you see it that way, that's what Jesus is saying. What problems do you have? Who's going to come and take from you when you do nothing else but love and see everyone as your brother and love everyone as your brother? You have no problems. That's the Count of Monte Cristo. That's Edmond Dantes had to go through that journey. That's the journey Edmund had to go to. So if you don't wear a mask and they cart you off to prison, the first person who comes to you in prison is God. They've just done you the greatest favor in history. So stand in yourself, stand upon your rod, stand in the light of Jesus Christ, be Jesus Christ, do what Jesus would do, and let the chips fall where they may. Because as Marie said, don't go against the grain, go with the grain. It's a good grain.
It's also speaking to just being consistent, like just consistently showing up, consistently trusting, consistently knowing that you're on the right track because you're on the path and you're doing the things that you know you need to do. So you're doing the things you need to do for your diet. You're reading the text, the holy text, the scriptures. You're changing the way that you're working with your children or your families. You're showing up, you're being more loving. And then, yeah, you are protected 100%. So whatever comes at you, there's authenticity is just that you keep doing that. And then it's almost like you're surrounded by this energy. And anytime some kind of evil energy wants to come in or some kind of attack or whatever, it's almost like it's deflected and you don't really have to do anything but make sure you're on the path. That's what you need to do. You don't need to create the path or even clear the path. You just need to get on the path. And then it's like a guidance that happens, and that's consistency. That's honesty. To be honest is just to be consistently saying the same thing. So when people ask me, I don't want to keep taking it back here about this whole situation that happened this week. It's like, well, what are they each teaching us? And Charlie Freak is continually teaching us to cast your net to the right. And he's showing us what it looks like when you do that. And that's consistency. And then that's honesty. And so then that's truth. So then that's kind of how we can wage, our insides know these things. And if we're holding on, it's uncomfortable. You will suffer. What does it benefit you to hold on? You might as well just let go and let this thing move through you. And it's just like what you said, like, okay, so they come and get you and they take you to jail. It's like, okay. And then you're smiling and then you're in love. I mean, Christ is such an amazing example of this, because it's not like he was like, oh, sweet, they're going to crucify me. This is going to be fun. He didn't resist it. He knew what was going to happen. He walked into the fire, and he did that out of love for us too. So we have a responsibility to learn how to practice that, and we don't even have it that bad, guys. We're kind of spoiled, I have to say.
Did we lose her? Oh, she was just getting good too.
I know. Yeah, Marie's got such great. Maybe when she comes back, encourage her to just stop video for a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, Marie, if you can hear me, if you can stop your video, it might help your voice come in a little more clear. Oh, well, there she goes. Okay, well, she'll come back.
Okay, so in jumping over then into the beginning of chapter 6, what you just need to remember is that this is ongoing. It's ongoing. So we're in 6. Now, remember how I said that the Bible was written by alchemical masters, right? So all of this is people who always consider the bigger picture, the wholeness of all things. So then what would chapter 6 refer to? And why would it be 6? Because the chapter 6 is all about summertime. This is you taking the resurrection and coming through the resurrection of spring and springing again to life in the east and arising, being man arising. But the fullness of that expression is John Barleycorn with his golden head peeking through at the high point of summer. And so again, if you look at this from an astrological standpoint, then of course that would be June 22nd. So that would be 6/22. So keep that in mind. We're now in chapter 6, and the sixth chakra is Ajna, which is this third eye chakra. This whole this whole chapter is about your third eye, which is Jesus Christ, because that's where Christ consciousness resides. It's where it has to get to within you. It's where you have to put it. It's your one and only journey. This is the one story. So I just want to make this so clear. We are now walking on hallowed ground. As we start reading this chapter, every word is hallowed be thy name. It is. And you're going to read and you're going to reread this chapter again and again and again until you perfect it in your gnosis of this chapter. Because if you can't get the crown, which is 7, without the 6, and you can't get to 6 if you didn't just go through chapter 5, which is saying that you have to cut off, crucify your ego. And how does chapter 5, if the crucifixion ends? It says that you just have to know and love thy brother only. And if you love thy brother only, there's no one coming to tax collect from you. There's no one coming to take away from you. If you see everything as your brother, as your brethren, then you've won. And you see, you're perfect, just as thy Father in heaven is perfect. So what is Jesus saying, and what does God want for us? To be brothers and sisters, to love one another. Doesn't every parent want that for their children? Don't we all want our children to get along with each other and play nicely with each other? They don't. God doesn't want us, and the mother doesn't want us to play war with one another. We're taught to play war with one another, but the grain is to play nicely with one another. And so that's the difference. So you see, chapter 5 is the crucifixion. Chapter 6 is this resurrection, and Jesus resurrecting to here. This is the journey of man. I cannot stress this enough. We're going to start with 6:1, but this journey is from the root of the Muladhara to here, to the 6, to the pineal gland, the light of the world. Jesus Christ must become the light of the world. And this is the thing. It's your only job. It's your only job, and it's your only purpose to do this, because when you do, it's you. That's who you really are. I'm not kidding. You're your own unique expression of God, of the Mother, and of Jesus Christ. You're your own brilliant, unique expression, but that's who you become. That's the one story. That's the cipher that Colleen and I, this is what we've used to figure everything out, and how everything just reveals itself to us in seconds. Is this is the cipher. Matthew chapter 6 is this cipher. When you know this one story, you know what everybody's trying to say. You know what's being said in every story, in every song, and everything. It all just reveals itself, because this is the story. So this is hallowed ground. And it starts, take heed that ye do not alms before men to be seen of them. Otherwise ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. Therefore, when thou doest thine alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in their synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Verily, I say unto you, they have their reward. Just 2. But when thou dost alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth, that thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly. So before we go into the cave, into the closet and shut thy door, which is the cloister, which is to cloister, the closet, which is the claustrum, okay? See, this is good. It's the cloister, the claustrum is where the milk and honey are made. See, they're talking about the chrism oil. Yeah, that's right. We're about to get there. But what are these? Justin, do you want to speak to this as well? And then Marie as well. These first 5 are telling you something very powerful, and they are saying something very, very powerful to you. And again, it's at the heart. Now, this is not to blow my trumpet before you. But again, we use this as an example. I wrote what I thought was a good post last night, and that was, that this is the curious case of the two Charlies, and that you have to determine the answer. It's a riddle. It's a curious case of the two Charlies, and it's a riddle, and you have to decipher the riddle and formulate an answer. So which one seeks no glory of man, and which is seeking glory of man? Which is seeking no physical rewards, and which is seeking physical rewards? Which is happy with a following of none or one, or a following of 10 million and 17? This is the curious case of the two Charlies. And these first 5 verses have everything to do with what just happened this week. So maybe I put some thought into the things that I do, and maybe I'm helping to try and show you this bigger picture that you need to see. So Justin and Marie, jump into those first 5 verses because they're so key.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's very key, because we can't. Well, and it's funny to me that this book is taught in churches, where it's like you read this and what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are we praying all openly? Why are we saying these rituals? Why are we doing, like, what? Like, this is so clear. This is so clear, because this is not about personifying. This is not about displaying. This is not about putting it out there and saying, look at me, look at how I do it. It's about going within. It's about it, and it's giving such a beautiful personal touch to it, because God is so personal, and God just wants to be our best friend. And to meet our best friend, we have to go within. We can't do it through anyone else. We can't do it in a group setting, or in speaking some words or rituals, or speaking out loud even. It's going within and truly doing that. So this is just stressing that so clearly, that you can't go out and just be shouting it and saying, like, this is how, look at me, look at how good I do it. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say. It's so clear. Like, it's so clear. It's so blatantly clear. But yeah, that's it.
Did we do the Lord's Prayer yet? You guys have been in and out, so I don't
No.
know.
We're coming into it. We're
Just
just at the start of chapter 6.
Okay, good. I really want to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's big stuff. It's big stuff. I think it's back to what we said. I'll just say real quick to the beginning of the show. It's about the feelings. When you are connected to God, you feel safe. You feel something different than when you're trying to find God outside yourself and defending and doing all these types of behaviors. And I think I just was coming in and out of YouTube, and I saw another show happening right now called United We Stand. And I thought, oh, wow, here we go. It's really now, it's just getting clearer and clearer that it's the rich man going through the eye of the needle. Like we're trying to get ourselves into this next level. This is not a joke. It's different than the past. It has to be different than the past. And so that's what this is about. This is go inside, clean yourself out. Don't defend it. Don't make yourself somebody you're not. You know, like there needs to be a consistency. I just keep coming back to that. Like, how Justin and I had this great conversation last night. It was just a part of the day. It was like he was in a vibe, I was in a vibe. It's a vibe. It's not a show. Even this is not a show. This is just a sharing. This is just, hey, 3 people coming together, studying this material and sharing their thoughts and feelings on it. It's not a production. I think that we really need to get super clear. Like, this is not about, getting an audience or anything like that. It's not about that. It's about changing our reality. It's about living these words, these sacred words. It's about living them. It's not about saying them. It's not about saying, no, really, I got a little bit of a rise in my own energy. I was like, wait a second here. This is what Charlie's been talking about all week. It's not about that. And I said to you too, Justin, yesterday, I've had some space away from it because I haven't been in Facebook land. I've been kind of really enjoying my in-person relationships rather than my online relationships this week, which really allowed me to be in that feeling. So you know, the compliment from the beginning was just, no, I'm just in the energy. That's what this is. That's all that is. I just really have wanted only that, to be in the vibration of God. And in that place, you know, we're untouchable. And it's not about, you know, he said, she said anymore. It's about, look, this is right, this is wrong, and we need to be the grown-ups.
Yeah, yeah, and
Grown up. He's gonna talk, he's gonna call Solomon out in a little bit. That must have not been fun. So like, you know, this is what it is. This is, we didn't make it up. We just get to learn how to follow how this thing works.
yeah, beautifully said. And I'll just add on to that you know, part of this where it says, "Verily I say unto you, they have their reward for those who shout it and do it openly." And so that's, again, that's where we take it away. It's not our responsibility to do anything about everything is built right into the system, you know, like we just have to figure out the keys to it. We have to find the cipher and figure out like how this works. It's not to come from a place of judgment because we figured it out before someone else, but it is to try and figure it out. It is to come to that truth and really step into it. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because, you know, it's all just, everything will happen as it needs to, in exactly the way it needs to. So just let it be in that sort of regard.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and again, absolutely the truth. And again, proof is in the pudding that what did I say about Charlie? That Charlie Ward has a ton to offer. Charlie's a very likable fellow, and he has a lot to offer. And if like myself, if I work hard to shine my light and be the best that I can be, then I can achieve some measure of satisfaction in helping others. And then that's the same for Charlie as well. He has a lot to offer. And if that service becomes selfless, then the rewards are very, very rich for everyone. Because you see, there really are no rewards when that service is not righteous, because the milk is spoiled and then no one can drink it. So you're not rewarded for offering spoiled milk, because nobody can reap the benefit of that richness. But that's why the cream rises to the top, and everyone likes to sip or take from the cream, because that is the nourishment, and that is the flavor, that is the passion of life arising. So again, you know, once again, what we're looking for from Charlie is just maybe work harder to stay on that path that is straight and narrow. And again, I find it interesting. In fact, it's just flat out funny. It is that somebody who has 0 subscribers is being called the raging egomaniac, and someone who says that he has 10,017 subscribers on his website is the poor one who's being attacked here. So the world is upside down, and we've got everything upside down, and we need to right the ship. So that's why I'm saying, before April 1st, before we become a fool, we need to be on the right side of all of these things. And so all I'm trying to do is help you to open your eyes. And if I'm down, if I'm down to everyone that's in the Justin, Marie, and Danny, of course, Gollywog, I'm the richest person, and so there's nothing to lose when you wear the armor of God. There it is. So, okay, we're ready. We're about to enter. We're entered really, really hallowed ground here. So do you want me to continue reading, or does anyone want to read 6:6?
I'll start. So 6:5,
Beautiful.
and when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, And when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. And thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathens do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. Be not ye therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth what things ye have need of, before you ask him. After this manner therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Yeah, that's powerful. That's so big.
It's appropriate to just have a moment. Yeah, I'm super moved.
So to break the silence, what's being said just before the Lord's Prayer? It's that we meditate. How much clearer does Christ have to be that prayer is meditation? And then he's asking you to draw a conclusion. So be not ye therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask. So do not use vain repetitions. For your Father knoweth what things ye need of before ye ask him. So when we pray, what should we be doing? See, Jesus just gave it away, but he's asking you to think through your frontal lobe. He's giving you a clue. He's giving you a powerful clue. And most people, when they've got problems, they've got enough problems, and it's dumping my problems on God. Help me, oh dear God, help me, help me, help me. If there was an open God, go, I have helped you, given you, you are the king of all you survey, everything you need, and I've given you. It's there. It's all there for you. It's wake up and take what is rightfully yours, okay? And love thy brother as thy neighbor as thyself. And that's it. So when people pray, what are they doing? They're doing it all wrong. What does Jesus Christ our Lord say? He says, do not ask of your Father, for he already knows what it is that you require, what you need. So when we pray, what are you doing? What are you doing? Dumping your problems and asking for someone that you have no idea, you have no connection with at all, asking this person to he already knows. So if he already knows all of that stuff, but that's not everything, it's just what ye have need of, right? So you have to read this. And then you have to apply the frontal lobe. So he already knows of what things you have need of. So what's being said? What does God want from you when you enter into the cloister, the claustrum, and shut thine door in darkness and silence? What is he? He wants to shoot the breeze. He wants to shoot the bull, except he doesn't want you to literally get a gun and shoot a bull. He doesn't want you to take a gun and shoot into the air. These are expressions, they're allegories. They exist because they're trying to teach you that everything was brought down to you from father to son, generation after generation, in allegories, so that you would never forget them, that they're fantastical tales that are one-to-one representations of this higher truth, and you'll never forget them. So much is being imparted to you. In other words, remember what Justin said earlier? What does God want more than anything else? You're his child. He just wants to be your friend, and he wants you and he to shoot the bull, except you don't shoot the bull. He wants you to have a conversation. He wants to be your friend. So when you pray, have fun. When you pray, unveil all of your deepest thoughts and your deepest desires and your richest dreams, and you know, or your favorite song, or that's what this is all about. It's have a conversation with God. There's a song we're going to be doing soon from Stevie Wonder, the real Stevie Wonder, and Stevie wrote on yet another one of his Grammy winning for Best Album records. He wrote "Have a Talk with God." So if your life is falling apart, go to the one place where you can always get an answer, and it's for free. Have a talk with God. And that's what this is all about. That's what's being said here. Prayer is meditation. And in meditation, you do not ask of what you need. How hard is this for anyone to, like, again, it's you know, Justin and I were talking about this before. It's like taking crazy pills. How do you not see this when it's being said in plain sight? So you know, I mean, you really have to just read it. Just read it. And it says, do not ask of things your Father already knows what ye have need of. So don't go there with all your problems and the things you need. He already knows. They've already been taken care of. Trust me. It's through the conversation as best pals, as buddies, that everything will come out. Because that's what Plato taught. You already have all the answers in you. You just have to discover them. They're already there. You just have to unveil them. And you do this by having a talk with God. That's what this is. That's what this is all about. It's so beautiful. And I just don't want you to miss the message here. That's what meditation is. So clearly, it's meditation. Clearly, we're not using vain repetitions, dumping our problems or what we have need of. That's your problems. I have need of this, God. No. He already knows. What's your favorite color? What part of my creation do you like the best? Oh, you like those. I really enjoyed creating them. I like them. God, are unicorns real? You bet they're real. You're a unicorn. I am? Yeah, you are. Oh my God, that's so cool. Like, I don't look like a unicorn. It's because you don't try. It's because you don't act like one. You don't behave like one. You don't act like one. You don't look like one. So, but you are a unicorn. Wow, that's so cool, God. Wow. Hey, God, do you think that George Harrison and John Lennon were good guys? Do you think, you know, or were they just all evil like the rest of the Beatles and stuff? And yeah, have a talk to God about the Beatles. That's what you're supposed to do. And all the answers of life just come streaming out in peace, in silence, in friendship, in love. That's how the story kind of just gets fleshed out through your experiences. But they're your experiences, they're your expressions. When you dump your problems, you're like everybody else. You're not unique. You're like everybody else. That's why it's being said, don't speak of your problems, because you're like everybody else. Everyone who is in their left brain, who looks the same, acts the same, talks the same, does the same things, watches the same shows, God already knows. God already knows, because it's the same old thing. Blah, 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 blah. Right, Siobhan? So, yeah, God is your friend. Have a chat, have a conversation with God. It's so beautiful. So, Justin, Marie, you want to speak to those things? Did you get that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think even it's a conversation, and where we get stuck a lot of times in this sort of pleading and begging and asking for things is we're trying to, that's our ego trying to control. Like, that's our left brain trying to step in and say, hey, I'm trying to control God. I'm trying to like steer it and make it work how I want it to. But it's not even how I really want it to. It's just the way that I've been programmed to want things. And that's where it just gets really tricky. And so a part of a conversation is listening. And that's what gets missed so much. Like, we have to listen. We have to really, 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 really listen. And that's why it's so important to get still and silent and go within. Go in thy closet, shut the door. Because we have to listen. We can't hear otherwise when there's all this noise all around. And yes, a lot of this noise has been artificially put there in order to make this very difficult to do. But we can do this. We can do this regardless of the storm that's weathering outside. Just get still and silent and go within and listen and listen and listen and listen, and you'll hear him. You'll hear him, and he tells you, and then you get to have that conversation flow. And then it's not coming from your egoic side, it's coming from you. It's coming from the real you, the observer, your essence, that divine child that you are. So yeah, I just wanted to add that part.
That's so beautiful, Justin. Yeah, it's receiving. It's receiving the kingdom. It's heaven on earth and having that experience in the present moment. It's I receive, I accept. I got it. I'm guided. I'll do it. I said to Danny earlier, I was like, do you know how to make a tree? What are you worried about? As long as you align to the energy that knows how to make trees, you're good. You're good. What do you have to worry about today? You know, you got all snugged in this morning, so you're good. You know, you're all safe. And in any moment, it's like paying that 10%, you know, like the cravings or whatever it is, like paying that 10%, like the gift is given to you immediately when you pay your 10%. It's, you know, it's lately, I don't have to wait for it. It's just like, oh, okay, there it is again. Thank you. I'm back in the flow. It's very interesting these days because I think a lot of people we're vacillating. We feel really pulled back and forth between the energies. And this is about grounding into the truth, the reality of God now. And that's all about meditation. Doesn't, I think a lot of people get all like, well, you know, how do I do that? Just right now, close your eyes now. It's there. There, you did it. Good job. And then you'll just spend more time in that place because it's so much fun. And that communication is so beautiful. It's so healing. And you're made whole in that place. That's your wholeness is in that it's a sanctuary. It's sacred in there. It's sweet. That's the church.
It is. It is. It absolutely is. And really quickly segue back to the song that we listened to at the beginning of it in that second verse. Now I'm on my feet again. Better things are bound, which is magnetic, by the way. Bounding is, you know, magnetic, Superman bounding from place to place. All my dues surely must be paid, many miles and many tears. Times were hard, but now they're changing. You see, it's, I mean, maybe it's just a love song to a girl. Maybe it's a love song to God. And maybe what was just said there is the tithing. That's 10%. Surely my dues have been paid, right? Surely, because many miles and many tears, times were hard, but now they're changing. And they only change when you hand over those many miles and many tears to God and say, thank you for the gift of learning along the road. We're going to do that song very soon by Dan Fogelberg, who's just such a beautiful man, but such a wise man. Dan Fogelberg knew all of this and encoded flat earth in so many of his songs, by the way, very courageous to do so. And it's about along the road, you know, we learn these lessons, and if we, and what does he say in the song, Dan Fogelberg? And if a heart held humble, then we find God along the road. But you have to have a heart held humble, because, and a heart held humble is he who is not going into thy closet and going, God, you're not doing anything. You're just, what are you doing? It's all wrong. And where's my Jaguar? I need these subscribers. And what are you doing? You're not listening. You're ranting and raving, and there's no gifts to receive because you're not in the vibration of receiving, which is through listening. So when you enter into thy closet, shut thy door, look at everyone, watch the screen for a sec. Shut thy door, shut your mouth, fermez la bouche, silence. Stop talking, You got one of those, and you have two of these. Listen. And then your five senses are pores. So then all of your senses can listen. All of your senses can taste and touch and smell and see. That's when you go here, when you cross the here to the here, then you stand over, you have understanding, so you have overstanding of your five physical senses, which are here. And when you stand over them, they answer to you. And so they're all as one. Get that? Get that? So when Jim Morrison in the Doors, oh, stupid guy, crazy, drink. No, Jim's really smart. Jim's really smart. Those songs are really good. And 5 and 1, yep. When you stand over, when you cross a fiction, when you tithe, as Marie said, that 10%, and you stand over the 5, you are the 1. And the 5 work as 1. That's what's being said. That's how it works. And then you're breathing through your eyelids. Ever heard that one before? That comes from a lot of those Eastern spiritualists. You know, the Yogananda used to talk about this a lot, didn't he, as well? See, it's all connected. It's all connected. It's through the humility of going, I know nothing, except I know I'm ready for love. Father, I am ready. I am so ready for your love. Please let me in. And God's going, all you had to do was ask. All you had to do was ask. And the asking is the oil in the lamp. Because, here's why. Because your words aren't enough. Why? Because people lie. So therefore, you have to show God through your actions. And so how do you show God that you're ready for love? You must raise the oil in the lamp. You must become the genie in the bottle. And those are all allegories for Christ coming home. So he gifts you from the age of 12 onwards, 13 times a year. He borns Jesus Christ within each and every one of us. You don't think this guy loves us? We're just given chance after chance after chance to get this thing right and raise the Christed one home within us. Do it. Do it. Just trust me and do it. Just do it. And what we share with you with Jesus is that he's alkaline. Can't live in acid. So even if Coca-Cola was good for you, you have to give it up because it's acid forming, and Jesus is alkaline. If you want to keep Jesus alive and off the cross, then you must become the alkaline man. And remember, that's not just of the body, that's of the mind. So when you take beta wave brain waves, when you infuse and operate through beta waves, Christ cannot exist. He cannot be the crown within you. He cannot be the light of the world because he can't exist in that chaotic. But when you start to change alpha, theta, delta, gamma, wow, magnetism, gamma, and then epsilon. Epsilon. When you're in epsilon, people literally go, dude, are you even alive? Sorry, I don't know where I was. That's epsilon. You just get there, go there. That's because that's when God is so active within you and all the healing is being done inside of you. But if it's beta waves, Jesus Christ cannot exist within you. So this gift is so real and it is so powerful, but it exists when you are humble before God. Fermez la bouche and receive the gift. Justin, Marie?
Yeah, I think Marie's having some internet issue. Oh, she's back. Great. Do you want to speak now, Marie, while you've got it clear? You're muted.
I hope it's not too distracting for everybody. I'm just gonna keep going with the flow. I just heard briefly, I think what Charlie was just speaking to was so beautiful about alkalinity. And I've said it before a number of times publicly, but this is 100% true. And I'm experiencing it right now in my day-to-day, that it is the more alkaline I become in my body, the easier it is to be alkaline in my thoughts. It really is. The body and the mind connection is so incredible. And we all think we're doing this, and it's not a thought. It's a feeling. It's a knowing. And I think that that's just something I want to just put out there. It's a knowing that you're in the vibration. And it's very clear for you when you're in that vibration who's not in that vibration. And it's not a judgment. It's just, oh, you're not in the vibration, but I am, and I'm staying here. And even knowing that someone else isn't in the vibration, it's not I don't feel judgmental like I used to feel, because that acidity was what was causing all the judgment. It's just a spade is a spade. It's just knowing and allowing myself to acknowledge that I'm doing the work. And it's such a blessing to be in that state more and more and more. The alkalinity, everything is changing. Everything is changing in my life because
Might have lost her again.
That's such a shame. She's
It is.
she's really in the groove and in the flow, and she has so much to share.
and I just want to
Justin, if while we're waiting for Marie to come back, let me interject something that's very, very important that I don't want to gloss over and miss here. In 6:6, it says something very key, and it needs to be understood. And when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and then thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. What is being meant by secret? Because again, to be secretive with others, is repulsive. John F. Kennedy's famous secret society speech is repugnant before all men, because we should share openly. And so you see, what's being said here is that we share this gnosis openly, but that's not what's being done. This is being hidden from us. But what's being said is that what happens between you and God, there's that famous expression, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's a ripoff. And they turn it upside down, but it relates directly to this message, to this passage of the Bible. Make no mistake about it. They know, and then they abuse it and they turn it upside down. So, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's because they're gloating over you, because they know, although they don't use it, and we don't know. And so, which is the truth in plain sight. When you pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. What this simply means is that what happens between you and God is yours and yours alone. If you choose to share it, that's up to you. But it is uniquely to you, because you are unique you. I am me. God is I am, and I am me. We are all I am me. Why do you think Krishna says that so many times in the Bhagavad Gita? Because I am me, and me is the magnetic electrical ether. I am the byproduct of God being. God's being is God. God is creation, and I am me, and I am the unique individual representation of creation. I am me. So that's all of our names. The next time a police officer asks you what your name is, I am me. Oh, is that like Ty? Sure, whatever. I am me. Yeah, it's Ty. Yeah, we're the children of God. God is I am, and we are the me. So, and that's where the mini me comes from, doctory and all that. They know this stuff. They put it all out there and they turn it upside down, and they're jabs and they're barbs at us for being so ignorant to the truth. And they know we have to be ignorant, because if we wake up to this stuff, they're done forever. they're done forever. Because once you on this, this is the thing. Once you do this, Marie is doing this, Justin is doing this, you know they're doing this. Look at them, listen to them. You know, the incredible wisdom. Just look at their eyes, listen to the sound of their voices, and then listen to what they're saying. So beautiful. Everything about these two is so beautiful. They're doing the work. Once you do this, once you make this connection to God, you're not leaving. Just trust me on it. You're not leaving. You'll never leave again. Why would you? So it's over for them. That's why the Jesuits are in control of the Society of Jesus, because they can't let you have the truth about Jesus. They can't let any of this out. That's why the Catholic Church goon squad is in charge of Western religion, so that you don't ever connect to God. Because if you do, it's over, because you'll never leave.
Yeah, well said.
So I need to share that secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to add on to that, and this will be a theme throughout all of these studies, really of anything, is we can share the process, we can share the truth and share how to get there, but ultimately it comes up to you. It comes up to you and the work, and no one else can do it with you. And that's why it says do it in secret, because it's between you and God, and it has to be. You can't read all the books and watch all the videos and hear all the things and expect that to be it, and that's just, okay, I'm there, I'm enlightened. No, it's about doing the work. It's about really, really, really getting clear with that, and really going within and making sure that's what it's got to lead to. This is not the end. This is the way to that space, the way to get there.
Let me quickly interject, because Justin and Marie will love this so much. But this is where you just laugh at the audacity of the Deepak Chopras of the world, where they're the guru and they've got all the answers. It's so hilarious. Look at me, that has infinite more clarity and wisdom than all of them wrapped up into my little pinky finger. And I take no credit for anything, because without God, I wouldn't know any of this stuff. So I take no credit for any of this stuff. And yet they try to take all the credit in the world and tell you that they're the ones. Stick with me, wait till my next book, you're not getting this yet, but trust me, my next book. And then you're not getting, well, wait for my next book and you'll get it, or wait for my big special with Oprah and you'll get it. And they keep placating you with another book and another special. And I'm saying to you that I'm not important at all. The message is important, and that you're important, because when you do the work and you make this connection to God, then that's everything. And you see, then your relationship with God is everything. And that's the answer. That's the answer. That's the way. Not me. Not me. So like Justin always says, you have to laugh at the audacity of the cabal to think that they were going to get away with this forever. And you just laugh at these talking heads and these self-appointed gurus who try to tell you that they're the answer and they're the way and stuff, and they hide God. Almost none of them talk about God at all. It's hilarious, the ego that it takes to appropriate that lie in front of the many. It's funny and it's sad, I guess, at the same time. But I wanted to share that. And then back over to Justin and Marie.
Yeah, well said. And just quickly, I wanted to answer, there were two questions in the chat that I wanted to answer. So one of them from Regina, it's our diet. She asked, is diet the only thing for alkalinity? And so I wanted to clarify that that's one aspect to it. That's a big part of it, is diet, but it's also the thoughts. The thoughts is arguably the biggest portion of that. What take no thought for your life is not just a phrase, and we're going to be getting into that a lot in this chapter. So the thought's a big part of it. The breath that you take, so the breathing that you do or don't do is a big part of it. And then, yes, the foods that you intake, and the purity of the water that you drink, and those sort of three 3 or 4, depending on how you classify it, would be the main keys to alkalinity. So just wanted to clarify that aspect. And then another question from Change Your Health: where does praying for others fit in, or does it? And so this is where it gets really, we have to get really clear on our trust and faith in God, and know that everything that happens for very specific reasons, always, 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 for the very specific reasons that it needs to happen. So we can't really try, like, if we're trying to steer God and pray for things to happen to people in the ways that we want them to from our limited perspective, that's egoic trying to control. That's ego trying to step in and take hold of that. So if we live, God knows how much we love people. God knows how much we love our family and how much we want the best for them. So in that sort of sense, by continuing to shine your light and continuing to get clear on that listening to God when we do go into that closet, God's going to lead us to ways that we can serve others that we want to help. We don't have to ask for it. God will lead us exactly to that place to where we can give the best help to heal our brothers and sisters in the best way possible. So just wanted to say that, because we do have to get really clear on pleading and asking for God for things, and just listening, having that conversation, and really getting clear. And that's why alkalinity and doing the work is so important, because if you don't have that baseline, then you can't hear it. So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
And then really quickly, that's all we can do. So really quickly, when you are asking God to please save all of these poor, because he's not, because he's forgotten them, and it's up to you to remind God, you're not thinking this through rationally. You're not in alignment, and you're not trusting God. That's what's being said here, and that's what Justin said so beautifully. I just want to just make that so clear and so evident. Of course, everyone is being cared for, but remember, the first gift that was given to us is free will. So what all that we can do is become the light of the world. So that's why when you go into the cloister, the closet, the claustrum, and shut thy door, speak no vain repetitions as the heathen do, and do not ask of the needs, for God already knows what thou must have need of before thou asks. He already knows. So he knows about the children. He knows. You have to become the light of the world. And that's the whole point. If everyone became the light of the world, there would be no problem with children, right? Everyone just has to take ability. That came as a kid. I talked about all the time. It just seems so obvious. If we all just, and I said, mom and dad were great parents. And I said, if all the parents in the world could just be as you and dad, mom's in the world, mom's like, you're right. Like if we all raised healthy families, then there would be no problems in this world. And the fact of the matter is, like Marie says all the time, 99% are raising, and it's getting harder and harder, and it's, we're doing a worse and worse job, but that's only because they have been doing this to us for thousands of years around the wheel, and harder and harder to be kind man. So, but of us are, that's just the way we are. It's just a tiny group that abuses their children, and those abused children grow up to be monsters. Look at all of the studies of all the serial killers and the people who do the most horrific things. They've all been sodomized as kids. They've all been tortured and brutalized as children. If we just all raised a beautiful household, there would be no problems. There's no awful child that's ever born. Not one child that was, when they were born, was awful. It's epigenetics. It's not genetics. It's the environment that we put them into. And that's why they control our environment. And you know that they do. The air, the food, the water, right? It's everything to control us and make our ride diseased. Left brain.
Let me just chime in and see if I have a decent connection for a minute. Is it okay right now? So when you just said the word disease, and that made me feel just it's so important to look at that word, because we are not at ease. And when we're not at ease, we do weird things. And this whole process is about getting in the state of ease. And in the state of ease is God consciousness. And that's the alkalinity and everything else that we've been speaking to. And yes, if everybody on the planet just stopped for a minute and just did this, we would elevate so quickly that it would happen in an instant. Because the more we raise our frequency and the more that we do this work, the more we're actually impacting and allowing the others to see what's potential within them. And so never underestimate that, oh, well, it's what is meditating doing for everyone else? Meditating is saving the world. That's because if we all open our eyeballs, not these, but this one, then we're going to see, wow, we're the ones that have done this. Why? Because we're not paying attention to what's real. And what's real is our connection to God. So that's the most important thing. I mean, this is the work. Like, your meditation is so potent. It's so powerful. You staying in that vibration is healing the world. When you heal yourself, you're not healed alone. You're not healed alone. And my healing journey is healing my children, and they're going to have an advantage, and Danny and our whole family and the community. Even just the community knowing that I'm doing this alkaline diet is making them uncomfortable. It's making them uncomfortable. I can see it. They're kind of like, oh God, I don't know about this lady. She's kind of serious about this. Don't you want some tostadas? Like, it's showing people like what's possible. You love that one. We love making you laugh, by the way. We were talking about that yesterday. But it's like, what's going on with you? You really just drink juice all day? Like, as I'm drinking a beer, it's like, yeah, this is possible. So we're showing people what's possible. And the further, that's all of this diet, all of this food is plugs into the cabal. It's in the iconography. It's all plugging in. And so we must unplug. We must. And I just wanted to say something about forgive us our debts as we forget our debtors, because this is something, Charlie, we've talked about a little bit. And if there's something you want to share on this again, please do so. But, it's forgive us our debts. It's forgive me for the places that I've missed the mark. Really, forgive me. But it's not just I'm going to keep doing that. It's go and sin no more. It's like, I see what I've done. And that's how we learn. We learn through the contrast. We go, oh, wow, I really effed that up. I've been effing this up for so long. And now I'm not going to do that anymore. And that's all it takes. We've talked about that recently too. Like, the legions of angels then come, because it's like, oh, there's one listening. There's one. That's okay. Here we go. Let's get this one in the program, deprogrammed and in the program of love, of God consciousness. And so, yeah, forgive us our debts. Forgive us our debts, and we forgive those who, in the way I was raised, it was trespass against us. I don't know if there's something there that we want to talk about, trespassing and debt, and the difference between those words, and how it relates to money too. Anybody?
Yeah, well, I mean, just my take on why they switched those words around was because of the debt usury, these Phoenicians who took hold of the banking system and threw everyone into debt, and they didn't want to have that constant reminder that they can't be holding this debt onto people. So they switched that to trespasses, which sort of, I mean, it's got similar meanings, but it does take away a little bit of the context from it. So that was my take on why they made that swap.
Yeah, and and it's knowing the etymology as well. So I'm gonna take everyone now on an incredible run here, and stay with me, and then Justin and Marie are gonna just chime in and fill in all of the gaps and stuff. But you're just gonna love this. So we're at 6:10, and in 6:10, verse 10, thy kingdom come. Who's thy? So that's God. God kingdoms come. Okay, so it cometh. You just have to receive it. So remember what Justin said, if you're listening, then you can receive the gift. Marie and Justin both said that. If you're in the vibration of receipt, then you'll receive. But if you're yammering on of what thou hast need, then you're not receiving the rays of the sun which are the angels, which are the angles. The angles, these rays are all on angles, and they're angels, and you deny them entrance into you. And yet, and every moment, the 360 different angles of God are trying to come into you, but you have to be in the right vibration. You have to be in the vibration of receipt to receive them. That's what's being said. Thy kingdom come from the Son. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. As the sun is in heaven, it shall rain down upon the earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. This means take no thought. It means that you don't even have to eat. It means that your sustainment comes from God. And Marie knows this, and Justin knows this. They're not quite there yet. I'm not there yet. But when you fill yourself up with God, you're filling yourself up with God. I mean, I literally, Colleen knows this, I literally go massive amounts of time, especially if Colleen's away for any period of time, I just completely forget to take any kind of food. And I go very long periods of time without any physical sustenance that way, because I'm being filled the other way. Give us this day our daily bread means that you don't need to eat the food. You can, it's there for you, but you don't need to. And Marie and Justin are both powerfully sharing with you, the less food that you eat, and the smoother, the softer, when you're juicing, the less invasive the food is, then you feel better. You just feel better. And when you're not eating food at all, you feel really amazing. And this is what all the breatharians share with us. And remember, a breatharian is breatharian. Aryans, which are the lineage of Abel. So that's what this is saying. You have to know, so sustenance comes from the living and breathing of God. It does. You can get to a point, absolutely, you don't need any food at all. And forgive us our debts, and we forgive our debtors. Because the only bank that ever existed is here. It's the Ark of the Covenant. That's your bank right here. And by the way, that's why the banking system, I've done an entire podcast on this. That's why the entire banking system is structured with all of the names and the symbology. All of it is just making fun of the fact that you don't know that the bank of banks, the safety deposit box of all safety deposit boxes, is here, is you, and that debits and credits have everything to do, and that's why the monetary system works that way. It's virtue and sin. It's virtue and sin. So, and that's why in the banking world, when you borrow money from somebody else, you're sinning. You're absolutely sinning. And the funny thing about it is that they've created a system that when you borrow from a bank, they're taking it from you, and you don't even know it, because this is the maritime admiralty law system, where any debt that you incur in your name, they just go to your birthing certificate account, transfer that amount to the bank. In that instant, the bank takes that money and then repays the debt back to your birthing certificate account, and then life goes on merrily. The bank's been paid, your birthing certificate account is back to full again, and you're the only one who's in debt. And the funny joke to all of it is that they took it from you. So remember when I say to you, you've got tons and tons and tons of money coming, you absolutely do. However they choose to deal with this, I could not possibly tell you, but all of that is very, very true. You are not even real in their world. You are a two-dimensional piece of paper called a birth certificate. That's what you are. And that's why they do all those movies about zombies and dead men walking, because you, the essence of you, was left in the mother's borning or birthing canal. The doctor took out a piece of paper and left the essence of you back in the birthing canal. So it's all maritime admiralty law. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So why would God lead us into temptation? and you don't have to ask God to deliver us from evil. For his is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So this is just stating the obvious, which is pointing to the previous line which is, and forgive us our debts as we forgive us our debtors. Stop being in debt. And what did Marie say? What are debts ultimately? It's an allegory for sinning. Stop sinning and be virtuous. And if you're forgiving of others who are sinning, then God will be forgiving of your sins. But that doesn't mean that like Justin said, that you just turn the other cheek and a blind eye and just allow everyone to be robbing you blind. No, it means you call them out on it. You put a stop to it, but you don't hate them. You give them the opportunity to resurrect themselves back to mankind. So hate the action, not the person. Hate the action, not the person. Don't make this personal, as Justin said. So that's what this is saying. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. Now you're going to love this. Do you know what a tress is? A tress is a long portion of braided hair. This is very, very important. And then passes is the way, is the journey. And so when we trespass ourselves and our Heavenly Father, is that we climb down our long locks from the crown of our head and we fall into hell upon earth. That's what a trespass is. Now you know. Trespassing is when you leave the higher you, the crown, and you climb down, Rapunzel, you climb down the long braided hair into hell on earth again, and you left the Father. Those are your trespasses. Your Heavenly Father will also forgive you if you forgive others, but teach others and show others to stay in this realm. But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will the Father forgive you your trespasses. Moreover, when ye fast, wow, be not as the hypocrites of a sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces, that they may appear unto men to fast. Verily, I say unto you, they have their reward. This is such a key passage. Remember, like Justin said, that, yes, and Marie was just saying so beautifully that when you change your diet, everything becomes easier inside of you to meditate, to connect to that higher realm. So you get up to the trestle, and then you don't want to leave. You don't want to trespass. So the food really helps, but it's the taking of no thought. It's the taking of no thought. So for they disfigure their faces, that they may appear unto men to fast. Verily I say unto you, they have the reward. Moreover, when ye fast, be not as the hypocrites. Okay, so fasting is not speaking to the lower, but it's fantastic and it's hugely important. The 72 divine, 3 days divine, 2 hours, 7 and 2 is mentioned to the mother, 9, 72-hour 3-day fasts are for you. But that's not what's being said. The fasting is like what's happening right now in Lent. It's the fasting of the mind. Take no thought. So when you fast, be not as the hypocrites of a sad countenance, which just tells you they're not fasting because they have a sad countenance. If you're fasting and taking no thought, you're going to be happy, guaranteed, because that's what the Father is. So you're not going to be sad. That's how you know. Remember what I teach all of you all the time. You see, there's a reason for these things. Look at whom you're listening to. Where are you getting your information from? Look at all of these pastors and priests and popes and cardinals. They all look sick. They all look twisted and distorted and demented. They all are overweight. They all have massive bags under their eyes. They all have deathly colored skin. Their hair is all gone. They're dying. Just observe. Be the observer. Be the lighthouse. Turn the light on and observe. That's like, Marie and Justin saying, listening. Observing is listening. It's seeing. It's your senses standing 1 over the 5. And that all your senses are just tuned in to what others are or aren't doing. Your information, from what you're getting your information from Justin, who are healing themselves, who have that soothing, loving, helping, beautiful, flowing countenance. That's what you want. And so that's how you know they're talking about fasting of the mind and not of the body, because it says, as hypocrites of a sad countenance. I'm sad, because you're thinking. Stop thinking. Be not as the hypocrites who say that they love God, but they don't, because they're not trusting of God, trusting God. See, what is a hypocrite? They say something, but they don't do. What does Jesus say in the book of Luke? Lord, Lord, you say, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not as I say? Why even bother? Because we're hypocrites. We want to look like. So what's the next thing? For they disfigure their faces. They're lying to you. That's what that means. Disfiguring your face, whether it's with a fake smile or sunglasses to hide your disgusting eyes, or makeup to hide your disgusting skin. Whatever it is, you're putting a false mask on, a countenance on. That's what disfiguring is. You're not being natural, as Marie says. You're not being the grain. You're being anti-grain. You're going against the grain, and you're disfiguring your faces, that they may appear unto men to fast, right? But they're not fasting. Take your makeup off. Take your mask away and look at who these people are. They're not fasting. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. And the older they get, all of these people look like hell, because they're not fasting, right? Because my hair is going crazy here. What's going on? So, wow, this is just such incredible stuff. It's telling you everything here in plain sight. But thou, when thou fastest, anoint thy head and wash thy face. What do you think that means? You can take it literally, yes, because it's beautiful and it works that way, but it's metaphorical as well. When thou fastest, anoint thy head. With whom? Jesus Christ. And wash thy face with what? With the chrism oil. You wash away the sins with what? How do you wash away sin? With righteousness, right? So again, do you see, they're not talking about getting some soap and some water and just trying to scrub it. That's not what's being said here at all. You wash your face with righteousness, which is Jesus Christ, and you rise that goodness and that righteousness and that purity of God within you. That's exactly what you do. Wash that face. That thou not appear to men to fast, but thy Father which is in secret, thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Again, just again, go within. Lay not up. This is now we're just into the highest of highs. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where a moth or rust doth corrupt, where thieves break through and steal. Possessions. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The light of the body is the eye. The light of the body is the eye. What am I reading? This is 22. Which chapter are we in? 622. Astrologically, and a calendar basis, what is 622? That's June 22nd. What happens on June 22nd? The sun is the highest it can be in the sky. High, exalting upon high is the sun. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. If you are in alignment with God, your whole body shall be filled with light. And how do you do that? If the sun is always on 622. So your job is to get to 622 and then stay at 622. It just could not be clearer. It could not be clearer. This is the most important teachings that have ever existed in plain sight. And they're telling you everything you need to know. And they're showing you literally and allegorically and how two worlds tie into one. It is beautiful, beautiful beyond description. And it is clear to see and is easy to understand. And it is easy to do if you have the courage to do it. Justin. Whew.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. So many beautiful reminders. I first want to touch on forgiveness and what that really means, and how we integrate that, and again tying it back to this idea that Jesus was this passive person and everyone just has to be passive and forgive all the time and let people walk all over them and all sorts of other things. No, forgiveness is not about that at all. Forgiveness is about what it's about you. It's about not holding that hatred in your heart, not holding on to that. That's because that's egoic, that's left brain to sort of be in that thought process of of resentment and harboring anger and harboring ill will towards another. We stand in the truth, and the truth always leads us exactly where we need to go, and we stand powerfully within that. But it doesn't mean to just let those who are committing wrongs to continue committing that wrong, because that's not right. So just want to make sure that that's clear, to not be misinterpreted in forgiveness and just allowing evil to be perpetrated. It's about what's going on internally. It's about having forgiveness to let go of this sort of I'm going to harbor onto that anger and let it consume me, because that's when we enter into that electrical dying brain and we start to decay from that perspective. So forgive from that perspective, let 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 it be from that perspective, but don't allow that sort of evil to continue in that sort of way. So just wanted to draw on that distinction there. Um, and then, yes, Charlie talked on it beautifully as far as fasting. It's not about washing your face literally. It's about clearing away your sins and clearing away these stories that we make up, and all of these all of these reasons why we can't do things, and all of these thoughts, all of these things that we hold on to that keep us from where we from getting to where we want to go. We are our own worst enemy uh, in that. And it's not even really us, it's our ego. It's our ego that gets in the way. So wash that away. Wash that away. Go through that baptism of just washing that away. And truly you can do all things. So yeah, there's that. And then let's see. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. I mean, you said it really well, Charlie. I would just add on the last little bit. I think it's important to distinguish. You didn't read that verse, but 6:23. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? And this is an important verse to really distinguish these two paths that have been. There are two paths that we can take, and the Bible and what Jesus teaches one path very distinctly and very very profoundly, and that's the righteous path, and that's the way, and that's truly the way to life, and truly the way to reunite with the Father. But within this sort of dualistic experience, there is another path, and it is the evil path, and there is a power of sorts within that, and that's why these evil ones do perform rituals, and they do they know that if they act as evil as possible, they can gain physical power to some extent in some way or another. And so I just wanted to throw that out there to really understand the full spectrum of what we're dealing with here, and make sure that it's so vital that you recognize that there are two choices. There are only two choices, and to make sure that you are choosing, because if you are not actively choosing the righteous path, then someone is going to be choosing for you and can steer you towards that other path, because there are those out there who have consciously fully invested into this left-hand path of evil and have chosen to experience the fullness of that experience, which I don't envy whatsoever, because there's no escaping the karmic retribution to that sort of path, and going that way. Um, but it is important to note that it is there, and by knowing that our shadow side exists, and knowing that these demons can steer us and are actively trying to steer us towards that evil path, we can recognize when it creeps in and when it's trying to deceive us, so that we can always cast our net to the right and choose that righteous path, because one leads to death and one leads to life, and it's that simple. It's really that simple.
Exactly, Justin. And again, you karma regression. The term always that the ancients used was all cultures read it. Think about this. When you incur karmic debt, you're building up a weight against you, right? Take the load off of Fanny, and that's a debt. And it's your atlas, and you're just having to bear the weight of the world upon your shoulders constantly, because all your debt by living a sinful life. How do you get credit? By being righteous. And then now think about this, just from how they put this in plain sight with regard to kids and games. Where do you get ahead in life? Even in banking, where do you get it? If you're in the credit, right? So if you have lots of credit, then you're in good financial standing. But if you're full of debt, you're in lots of trouble. This is the righteousness versus sin. And in video games and stuff, that you always have to build up credits. And if you have enough credits, you get an extra life. Wow, they're showing you in plain sight. If you are a righteous man and you start to build up in your bank, remember this, the third ventricle of your brain, and that's the Ark of the Covenant between the two temples. There's the Ark of the Covenant. And inside the Ark of the Covenant, if you're building up credit, because that's the only bank that exists, that's the only bank that exists, and the only currency that exists is debit or credit, sin or righteousness, virtue. It's your choice. And if you have enough credits, you power up, you life up, you get another life, you get another chance. They're telling you in plain sight. It's always been there in plain sight. They've just obfuscated it so well, and they've made you believe so much that you're just a worthless nothing, and that don't bat an eye when people die at 60 years of age. That's just the way it is. Don't you believe them. Don't you dare believe these satanical beasts. Don't you believe them for a sec. You are everything, but you have to be full of credit. Credit is an allegory for virtue, for righteousness. Get out of the world of sin. That's debt. Okay. And remember what I said, that these guys are geniuses. I'm not a genius doodler, but if thine eye be single, thy whole body will be filled with light. And then we're talking about, the pyramid and the diamond, and then you have to illuminate the crown, and then everything is in control. So again, there are your two eyes, but that's not the answer. That's not the way. It's if thine eye be single, the single eye, then the whole body will be filled with light. How do you create light? You become a crystalline structure. And what is the crystalline structure? It's the diamond. So here you see the pyramid, right? So you see the pyramid here. But again, the whole point is to control my stupid mouth, because where we get ourselves into trouble all the time is by what we say. And the reason is that what we typically say is what they want us to say, and that's from the left brain. But when you are here, there is a direct line to here. And so what comes out of your mouth when you're here is divine and righteous, and you never have any trouble. And see, this is the crystalline structure. This is the 5D man, the diamond that's within your head. It's all about your head. You have to get your head right. That's why all of these medical terms and medical expressions are all about, right, getting it right. And, with all of this mental illness, you're not right in the head. Yeah, literally, you're not right in your head. You're not to the right side of your head. That's why they exist forever. They don't go away, because it's the truth. All of these ancient expressions of old are telling you the truth in plain sight, and nobody wants to pay attention to them. So this is the crystalline man, the crystalline structure. But it all depends on this, which is thine eye being single, and you create the diamond, which is a translucent device that not just allows light to pass through, but it's a generator of light. And the light is an inner light, which is the photon light, which is God. And then my stupid mouth will start saying the right things. Get it? Get it? and so we have to be controlled from here, not there. The left brain, nope. Here, if thine eye be single, thy whole body will feel light. Let's let Marie talk, because we got her back.
Can you hear me?
Beautifully.
Sorry about that, friends. I was trying, it's a whole situation. I have like 2 different phones and the internet, but I was listening to bits and pieces of what was being shared. And so I'm a little bit not sure exactly where we are, but I think that it all just, when I hear this, it feels correct. And that's really what I'm feeling today. Is one of the messages I want to put out there. It's about feeling. How do you feel in the presence of this information? And that's an activation. That activation is about awakening, and that awakening is about what these days are for. And we're using this material to really tap that. So I'm just going to kind of listen in and try and get my head back in exactly where we're at. But yeah, forgive us for our debts. And if you do have debts, which I have some, but I'm not taking responsibility for them the same way, because I realized that I wasn't making those decisions in my right mind. And I think that's also an important aspect of this. I just saw a little bit of the graph, but when we make decisions from our right mind, we'll always make the best decision for ourselves and for everybody else. Even if it seems that it's hurting others, it's the right decision because it's made from a higher level of consciousness. Yeah. I don't know where we're at, so I'm just kind of riffing.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. Did you hear my explanation of trespassing? And
a little bit.
Yeah. So just once again for everyone, that the tresses are long woven braids of your hair, and so trespassing is that when you're in the crown. We lost her again. No, she's back again. When you're in the crown, the only way out is down the fire escape. That's why they call it a fire escape, right? And you have to go outside. There's stairs on the outside. All that one story, folks. I'm sorry, but it is, and they're making fun of you all the time. So you don't want to escape the fire. You want to bask in the glory of the fire, because that's the cleansing of Jesus Christ that leads you to God in the singularity of the single eye. But no, we want to take, so you grab your tress, which is a long braided portion of hair, and you pass. So that's the journey. So it's a journey down. Your trespassing literally means to descend. That's what a trespass is. And so people who commit trespasses are people who are out of their mind. Where did that expression come from? You're in your freaking body, which is ruled over by your left brain and the ego. And you're a carnal beast, 666. You're the wrong 666. You have to get back up into your head. Don't take the fire escape. Everything society does is a game to make fun of you and put the truth in plain sight. And that's why when I share this stuff, people go, wow, wow. Exactly, because there's only one story. All they can do is bastardize the one story. They are the greatest proof of God. Yep, because of everything they do, it absolutely proves God. And you know, when Colleen and I really wrapped our minds around that Trump has to be a good guy, and that there has to be a Q team, that there has to be, is because commonsensically, Colleen and I said, there have to be good people that are going, this is sick. This is so screwed up. We have got to do something, you know, whether they care all that much about the masses and how brain dead the masses are or whatever, who knows? But you get to a point where you go, now that we know what they're doing to the kids, we have to do something or die trying. We have to do something or die trying. You can't be okay with this. And this is what Justin and I hesitate to say, Marie, because I don't want to put words into her mouth, but this is what we're saying with the video about Charlie in his own words and stuff. And you know, and we don't hold people to necessarily what they've done in the past, but you have to come clean about that and admit it. You have to wash away the sin with righteousness. You don't continue by telling lies, because if you do, that's a direct clue that you haven't cleansed and that you're still the person that was procuring underage girls for Jimmy Savile. Now, I didn't say that. He said that live on air. And everybody on air is going, yeah, I know, Charlie, and now those women are harassing you. God, can you believe those women? It's like, wow, that's so fucked up. That's so fucked up. And it's okay, just cleanse the sin. Cleanse that sin and now be part of the righteous answer to this. Help us. Remember in The Lord of the Rings, when everyone wants to just, now that Gandalf exposes the lie of Saruman. Remember, Saruman ruled by his voice, and Gandalf said, you have to be careful because his words will put a spell on you. Tolkien knew everything. And then when Gandalf exposed and pulled away the mysticism of his words and the spell of his words, and people saw Saruman as the absolute demon that he was, they were all yelling, kill him, kill him, kill him. And Gandalf said, no, we need him. He can really help us. And so Gandalf said, Saruman, your plans have not worked, but will you, instead of giving up, will you not come with us? Will you not join us? Will you not help our cause? And he wouldn't. He absolutely wouldn't, because he wouldn't cleanse. He wouldn't accept virtue into his life. He wouldn't accept Jesus Christ into his life. Saruman was godless. And that's what Tolkien is showing. These are all allegories. It's such an incredible story. And everybody thinks The Lord of the Rings is real, because it is, because it's you. He wrote a story about you. He wrote the one story. You're Aragorn. You're the return of the king.
Yay.
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 And Aragorn doesn't get there without Frodo and Sam, who are the two smallest, you know, and they had no sense of ego, and they did the most incredible thing. And that's the allegory that says we're all in this together. The biggest of us need the smallest of us, and the smallest of us need the biggest of us. We all have to work together, my brothers, my brethren. That's what's being said throughout the Bible. That's goodly and that's godly. And if you create sin, we need to forgive. We do. But you have to earn that forgiveness by going through the fire. I don't see that with some people. I don't see it. And if I'm not seeing it, then that's dangerous, which is what I'm pointing out to you. It's dangerous, because if that sin and that level of sin has not been burnt away by the redeeming fire, then God only knows. God only knows. And I don't want that. I want everyone to be working with us. We need Saruman. We need Saruman. He has so many powers that can help us along the way.
So powerful. You know, it's the character of Gollum is very interesting in this too, you know, and Sméagol, and how he's so struggling. Like he wants to be good. But then he goes back, and it's just so potent, that whole every time he has a conversation between him and his ego. And it really comes down to, once you commit that level of sin, you know, he killed, it's very difficult to acknowledge your worthiness. And so it's a constant practice. I think that's also what you're speaking to. It's a constant purification of self. It's an every day. Just because you did it great yesterday, you got to do it again today. And today might be harder than yesterday. In fact, it most likely will,
That's how this thing works, because you're literally burning away the impurities. And so it's difficult to go on that journey, at least initially, because he demonstrates that egoic war. It's a spiritual warfare. You are warring, but you're warring with yourself. You're warring within yourself. And so many people just that are so upset about this. I mean, having a smaller experience with it, of going through, the disconnect from my own community, and then seeing what's happening in this little community. And it's like the want to be right. That's the ego. This is the self wants to be righteous. It doesn't want to be right. It wants to be righteous. And that's a very different journey. But I think that character of Gollum is someone to look at, because I saw a lot of myself in that struggle. And when you keep showing up every day and doing it, it gets so much easier and easier and easier. And so then you do end up like Aragon. He never faltered. That character was so amazing. I mean, he always knew the path, and no matter what was in front of him, he wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid. And there were so many times when absolutely he should have been afraid, like everything was dark. It seemed like the end. But the return of the king is our inheritance. It's our inheritance. That's what it is to be a child of God. We're calling that in right now, and it's asking us to do hard things. And if we are all in this together, then we all have to hold the bar up higher for each other. We can't just accept just mediocrity anymore. Mediocrity is just like, oh, well, it's okay. No, we're looking for be perfect, like your Father in heaven is perfect. It's a purification process. Yeah, it's a gift.
It is.
You're a gift, Marie.
Thank you. I love you so much. I do. I feel so grateful. I feel so grateful to be in this company, this community. It's a privilege. It's an honor, to have those before us on the journey. And that's what this is all about. It's we're lighting the path for each other, because it is a fine and narrow path. And we do need guides. We absolutely do. We've lost our way in a very, very, massive and disturbing way. We've really, really lost our way. And even, those of us who thought we were doing great, I think I posted on this yesterday, in many ways, I've been a false prophet in my life. In many, many ways, I was saying one thing and doing another. That's an inconsistency. That doesn't work. It doesn't work for this level of awakening, which is what the Great Awakening is about. My yoga community didn't want me to talk about the Great Awakening. Well, that's what this is. This is about us turning away from what doesn't work and turning towards what does. And we can't be self-anointed and self-appointed anymore. That's if you're self-anointed and this is about you and all of that, then that's just, again, you're going straight, you're on the other side. You're one of the orcs. you're disguised. You're not in your humanness. You're not in your beauty. You're not in your inheritance. It really is. When you take this on, you get so many gifts. So many gifts. Can't really see you guys because I'm on the phone.
Okay. Yeah, that's so beautiful, Marie. And the orc by Professor Tolkien is a great term. When we're not of God, we're orcs. we absolutely are orcs.
And they're gross. Their faces and the whole thing. It's gross.
Exactly. And watch all of these people who are liars as they grow older. They all just grow old. And the thing is that the mainstream media is so filled with such disgusting people. We've all come to think that old people are ugly because that's all we see anymore, right? And by the way, folks, you ever wonder why Hollywood stars just disappear at a certain age? They have to, because they turn so ugly, you can't believe it. And why do so many of them look like complete fools with all of this facial surgery? What do they call it? Cosmetic, plastic surgery. And they're desperately trying to hide. And what are they transforming into? And it's so beautiful. It's just the perfect allegory of God. You can try and try and try and try, and you spend all of that blood money that you have, but you can't stop yourself from looking like a beast. You are going to look like a beast because that's what you spent your whole life to become, is a beast. So when you look at all of these people as they grow older, they're the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life. And the thing is that I remember my family, and I always referred back to my mom's mom, Nana, and she was just the most spectacular woman, along with my mom and Colleen, that I've ever met. And she, like I said, she finally passed at 108. We were shocked that she did, because that didn't make any sense. She was pure life, and she was beautiful. She was beautiful. I don't get this why everybody now thinks that to grow is ugly. It's what you see on TV. And that's because they're murderers. And Marie beautifully said with Gollum, that's why Gollum couldn't come back, because he had committed that ultimate sin and he would not forgive himself. And people ask all the time, why is it that we like Gollum? Like, how can we like Gollum so much when he's such he's risking everything, and he's such a vile creature? Because he's constantly trying to be good again. He's constantly trying, but he can't forgive himself because he committed murder. That's why. Marie nailed it. And so this is why the Bible and the book of Matthew is all about forgiveness. Forgive you before it's too late. Because if you don't start forgiving yourself, if you don't become a creditor, if you fill up with too much debt, you're going to murder someone. And that's what it all comes down to. And once you cross that line, you will never forgive you. There's just no way. And then you spend all of your blood money trying to look like an angel, and it just looks ridiculous. They look like clowns because they're trying not to look like beasts. Justin, do you want me to take us through the rest of the chapter?
I can read it. You're kind of coming in a little choppy, so I'll read do you want me to just read the whole thing through?
Yes, the rest of the way. So we're 623.
Okay. So 623, but if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat and what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment? Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather in their barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, they toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take the thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof.
Thank you, Justin. And I have 5 digits up here. 5 times. 5 times did Justin read it. 5 times did Jesus Christ our Lord say it. Take no thought for your life. 1 for each of our 5 senses. You must leave the mammon. Does everybody know? These are ancient words, so you may not know. Actually, mammon is to covet, and so therefore it has been sort of allegorized into the possessing of riches, possessions, the material wealth, material plane. So you cannot serve. So folks, wow, and they get away with this because nobody likes to read this passage and nobody likes to explain to you what these words mean. But a lot of pastors and priests have got lots of splaining to do if they ever explain this passage to them. So what clearly is being said is that you cannot serve both God and the mammon. So once again, how many of these pastors wear $5,000 suits, live in $1 million homes, drive 5 or 6 different cars, and you go to them for the godliness, and they're standing up there with all of their gold rings and gold jewelry? Has anyone ever taken the time to notice? My entire life, I've never worn a watch, a ring, a necklace, or anything. I'm clean because I will not have bands upon me. I won't have bands upon me. I can't wear them. When I was married my first time, and it was hard to explain, but it just burned away at me. That ring burned. I could not keep it on. It was pain. It was utter pain right to the bone every time that ring was on. I can't wear things like that on me. And even with my clothing, Colleen knows this. I just love light clothing, or very little clothes. I don't even like to wear heavy clothing. I just don't like to be covered. That's I think you can see that that's kind of me, right? I'm kind of that person that doesn't like to be covered up and be weighted down. So that should tell you, but Julie am the most wonderful Marcus history. He absolutely wasn't. I'm sorry if that's going to offend some people, but he absolutely wasn't. I said the other day with Marie and Charlie Rogers, and I thought everybody knew about Mr. Rogers. I thought everybody knew. Folks, do some research. Do your own research into PBS. All of those shows and all of those people who created shows, Sesame Street, the satanic messages and the homosexuality message is communism. It's just pure latent communism. Is PBS, devil broadcasting, PBS, devil broadcasting system letter, who was on there? Bill Cosby, funny voice, and I got women down in my basement, and I'm going to eat for now. I'm going to talk really fun, you laugh, I can get women and eat them. Mr. Rogers, creepy little sweater, creepy little,
We're kind of losing your voice a little bit, Charlie.
Everybody knows. Okay, let me turn the video off here.
Yeah, that's a little
better. Is this a little better, Justin?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, so again, I believe that people know that about Mr. Rogers, but everybody knows Mr. Rogers can go, something's not right. Why do you think so many Saturday Night Live made fun of Mr. Rogers as a really creepy person? Saturday Night Live, that's in 30 Rockefeller, that's Cabal headquarters. It went through, that's Satanism. They're all initiated into Satanism through Live, right? I didn't watch SCTV, and they were genius. Ramus, who did the movie Dog Day, and Rick Moranis, and they were just exposing the Illuminati on their shows, and they had to do those in the winter wonderland to Canada to be able to. Oh my God, there's double Marie. That's so awesome. Oh, now there's only one Marie. Two Maries. I tell you, it's a delight. So again, for freaking everyone out, hey, listen, folks, do your own research, okay? And this is Mr. Rogers. How creepy could one guy be living alone? Okay, so just do some research about who Mr. Rogers was, what he was tied to. You'll be really, really shocked where he came from, the things that he's done and what he's affiliated with. So PBS and all those shows, that's Communism Broadcasting Network. It's horrific. So, sorry, seeing all of these bubbles and a lot. Remember, Colleen point, it's all a lie. So you're better to get there sooner than later, and it makes it a lot easier, folks, because there's a lot more stuff coming. But again, let me reiterate to everyone, there's so many good things coming. And one of the things that I can share, and I have no proof of to guarantee it to. Remember what I said to Mark Devlin on the part of the series where I said, this is the greatest movie ever is what we're living in. And I said that there's two reasons Hollywood has been shut down. Hollywood's been shut down because so many of the actors are gone. They're black magicians. Justin was talking about this with the Hollywood and turning the beauty and the beauty of Hollywood into black Hollywood, spells magic. And they're gone. They have to be gone because they're spells. So, but if everyone's gone, it gives away the ending to the story, and no one's going to buy that this is a movie and it's still ongoing. And I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they're so good at this. They've got most of you going like this. I mean, is this even real anymore? Like, have we got this all wrong? It's like, I don't know. And then the only good thing is that they've shown you that clearly Joe Biden's not in the White House and Donald Trump keeps walking by and there's cars parked with lights on behind Joe Biden in the Oval Office. I don't know how that happens, but and Trump just keeps appearing. And so they do little things to help you along the way. But so many of you, you're beginning to panic and think that, no, well, wait a minute, maybe he did lose and yike. No, it's a movie. And so the other thing, as we told you, is that the rest of Hollywood is not there either, because the ones that weren't killed are all playing the roles of their life. You just have when you wait till you see the credits, you just have no idea how many people are involved in this, and lots of people that you thought were dead. Lots of people, because the only way to get out of Hollywood is to fake your death. Robin Williams, desperately trying to get out of Hollywood. And remember, there's a great video from Isaac Cappy. Isaac Cappy, and he's going, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey kept coming to me and, Isaac, tell the Q, man, tell the Q to get me out of here. Take me in. Isaac, tell the Q to take me in. And Isaac's like, Jim, they don't take in people who eat children. You're on your own, man. You're going to have to die. You have to die. If you eat children, you have to die. But here's the thing. You don't have to lose your soul forever. So you have to know that you're going to die. And if you're okay with that, but you want to save your soul, you can save your soul, Jim. And so there are some that are doing that, and they're still going to head and hang in the hangman's gallows, but their soul is going to be saved, because there's even some of those that are helping us right now. You have no idea. This is biblical. This is magic. This is the story of all stories. And that's because at the head of this is not some computer. Q is a computer. I don't know, maybe they have a fantastic computer that's part of this and stuff. But I can tell you that Q is a massive team that is silent, and they don't share comms to anyone. And Q plus is Donald Trump, and R is John F. Kennedy Jr. And for all of this to work, there has to be one man's passion and one man's direction and the one man's view. It just doesn't work if this is a group of military guys going, how are we going to save these people? I don't know, let's invade Russia. No, we're not doing that anymore. You know, I know you're trained that way, but stop thinking like a military guy. We have to think with psychological. Let's drop bombs on people. No, you see, you keep thinking like a military guy. No, we need. So it doesn't work. You have to have one guy. That one guy is John F. Kennedy Jr., who's absolutely alive. He's absolutely the lifeblood of this. He's not the only guy, but he's Aragorn. Yeah. And we're Frodo and Sam. Yeah. We're Frodo and Sam. And we're carrying the load for them right now. We're in Mordor, and it seems like we're all alone, and it's just hell here. I've been trying to show you this with images and podcasts and all the stuff with Lord of the Rings to try and show you this. We are Frodo, and John F. Kennedy Jr. is and Donald Trump is Gandalf, the White, because Barack Obama, who should have been a good guy, wasn't. And Clinton, who should have been a good guy, wasn't. And the Bushes, who should have been good guys, weren't. And so Gandalf had to come along and be the white guy, right? Gandalf was gray, but now he's white. Donald Trump has a bit of a sketchy past, but now he's white. Gandalf the Gray had to die at the hands of the Balrog, and he came back and he became white. Donald Trump's no longer president, but he will come back. And as the white president, he will create peace on earth and goodwill toward all men. And then we will pass without permission, without passports, without borders and restrictions, and we will come to know one another, and we'll come to love one another, and we'll come to know one another as brethren the way that it's supposed to. So so much good is coming. I don't guess at this stuff. I know I can't prove this stuff to you, but hopefully you can feel it through me. There's nothing but good that's coming. All you have to do is just climb that mountain with the ring a little bit further. Remember, the ring is our left brain. Yeah, because the ring fits on 1 of 10 fingers. That's 1 of 10. So what do you think the ring symbolizes? 1/10 or 10%. The ring is your left brain. We have to carry our left brains just a little bit further up the mountain. Then the miracle, the eucatastrophe of the Eucharist of Jesus Christ will appear. What day is it today? It's February 12th. We're in Lent. What does Lent get us to? Passover. What's the miracle? It's March 22nd, which is the resurrection of Jesus Christ our Lord. Folks, we're not far away. They're not going to let that day of days go by. That's why 107 is saying to you, I'm not telling you when, and I'm not saying it will be on April 1st. I'm simply saying that by April 1st, you will know that Donald Trump is your president. You will know that the good guys have won. And then you will see the mop up in full force and in action by April 1st. Why? Because March 22nd is the resurrection of Jesus Christ our Lord. Remember when they said this is biblical? This is biblical because we have to be resurrected. And this hellish countenance that we've been wearing since birth, which is not your fault, it's not my fault, it's not Justin's fault, it's not Marie's fault, it's not Charlie Ward's fault. We've been put through hell. And I don't want to judge Charlie Ward because I don't want to walk a mile in Charlie's shoes. I don't want to go through. I had a great set of parents, and I'm not saying that he don't know, but I don't want to change my experience for somebody else's. I don't want to judge Barack Obama because I know something of his childhood experience, and that was hell. And I don't want to go through that. So I don't want to be judgmental of them. Hate the action, not the person. Deep down, I love Charlie Ward. And Charlie's such a lovable, affable guy. I just want Charlie to be on the right side of things. I want me to be on the right side of things. I want to be better than I was. And I want to help others as best as I can. So, but I don't want to lie about how many subscribers I have, because then that's mammon, right? And you can't serve God if you're serving mammon. I'm sorry, don't mean to offend you, but that's the truth. You cannot serve both God and mammon. So if you're lying about this or that, that's bling bling. That's the bling bling. Again, look at me. I can't wear any bling. I can't. It's like kryptonite to me. I can't wear anything. And isn't that interesting how I can't wear rings? And I'm trying to show you that I exist in my right hemisphere of the brain as best I can. I'm doing the best I can, far from perfect, but I'm doing the best that I can. And so I just think that today's show has been a miracle, because this book is a miracle. And don't give me praise. Give praise to Justin and Marie for all the work that they've done in such short order. Marie and Justin have come so far, further than I could ever have asked them to be and to do in such short order. This is it. There's no time ever in our history when we're counted on to stand up and to be righteous than right now. And Marie and Justin have done that, right? And then I did a really scary thing on Marie's show too. I did a really scary thing, which is like divide. Oh hell! And then Marie's going, I'm just trying to get on the right side of this, and now I've been cast into the middle of this maelstrom. And oh, Charlie, and it's like, but trust, trust that there's a plan. There is a plan. And I leave little clues everywhere for you, everywhere. Everything that I've been saying, just everything that I did this week is right in the book of Matthew. So I'll pass it back over to you. But I love you guys. I love everyone. And I love all of you guys in the chat room. But praise God, praise Jesus Christ who is within you. Praise Justin and Marie, because without much help, and in short order, the two of them have put the load onto their shoulders and have carried a massive weight for the children, for themselves, for all of you, and they're heroes. They're heroes in my eyes. And but don't give praise to me. Don't want it, don't need it. I'm just here to help as best I can, and that's it.
I think you blew us away a little bit. We might need to take a minute. I'm like crying over here. Wow, that was so amazing. Oh my God. Sweet Jesus. Thank you for that whole riff. It was so perfect. And yeah, it's biblical. Everything that's happening. It's so beautiful to feel it at this level. I feel it in my cells. I feel it. I have full body chills. I get activated all the time, and it's such a gift. I just want to thank you for holding that line. And yeah, it's wow, it's a lot of power, and we know it's the power of God because we're smart. We can tell what's what. Yeah, thank you for that, Justin. I'm kind of just like in the wow of this moment in time, and
Yeah. Being that it's a beautiful place to be. It truly is. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Marie. I love y'all so much. Ooh. So much. Oh man. So just kind of reeling it back to that last passage we read in Matthew chapter 6, about taking no thought, and how it's mentioned 5 times. This whole process that Charlie just outlined about what's going on, anytime you let those kind of fears creep in about, what is this really happening? Is this really going on? Like, that's taking thought. And here we have this amazing book that's giving us the blueprint of how we don't have to hold on to that worry. We don't have to hold on to that fear. We just have to trust. We just have to be. We just have to be present. We just have to be present and do the work, which it's like someone in the chat earlier was saying how the work is so easy, because it is. It's really simple. Like, it's really not even work. It's so simple. We call it that because it requires a bit of action, a bit of commitment to step into it. But it's really not work. It's really not work. It's really doesn't require a lot. It doesn't require any toil. It doesn't require any sort of there's no, yeah, it's just perfect. It's perfect. So just stand in that and be present with it. And truly everything else is taken care of. Truly everything else is provided for us. And it's so beautiful by allowing that to happen. So yeah, I just wanted to say that part. And then another aspect that I wanted to touch on about taking, we can't serve two masters. And I'm sorry if this offends people, but being neutral and saying you don't want to hurt people's feelings by choosing and saying, hey, I can't make up my mind about this and I don't know what to do about it. Like, that's ultimately serving mammon. That's ultimately serving Satan, because Satan wants us to be in that place of not choosing. Not choosing is choosing. Not choosing is choosing, and it's choosing that left-hand path. And I'm sorry if that offends you. I'm sorry if that's hard to hear, but God needs us to be God doesn't need us. God wants us to be righteous. God wants us to be righteous and has provided this beautiful gift of us to be righteous, but we have to be completely 100% fully righteous in every single moment. And that's not to say that we can't falter, we can't make mistakes, but it's a process every single day of just making that commitment. You know what, God? I'm going to be righteous in every single moment, and I'm going to make mistakes. I am imperfect. But as long as we have that commitment and that effort to keep trying and keep righting that ship, then surely we will be rewarded. It is guaranteed. Um, so I just wanted to say that because I see a lot of people within this whole, like, trying to not be divisive and stay in unity and all this sort of other sorts of things, and they really want to stay neutral and not hurt people's feelings. It's like, no, we have to stand up for this, because if we don't, then who will? What has allowed all of this evil to perpetuate for so long? It's people staying neutral and saying that they're not going to do anything because, well, someone else will just take care of it. It's saying, yeah, I'm just going to let someone else do it for me. And that's what's allowed all of this darkness to perpetuate. That's what has allowed all of this to be here. And that's serving mammon. That's serving Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to classify it. That is serving that darkness, because being us in our passivity, being us not standing in the truth, we are allowing that to continue. So don't be passive, don't be neutral. Choose righteousness, choose the right hand path, cast your net to the right, do the work, and we'll get through this. And then leave all that worry, leave all the fears behind, because you don't need them. As long as you're on that right hand path, you have no need for worry, no need for fear whatsoever. It all fits together so perfectly, and it is so simple. Just just yeah, just get clear with it. Yeah, just get clear with it. But yeah, just one that was my bit. Thank you all. I love you all so much. Man, this show was spectacular. Truly was.
I think you're muted, Charlie. There we go.
That's because it's the Bible and it's the higher bowl, which is the New Testament, and it is the testament of Jesus Christ our Lord, and it is magic because he's magic. And we had a magic show today because he's magic. That book is magic, and because you guys are magic. And to leave the show today, let me. I have great hopes that Neil Peart is not dead, and let me just leave the show with some words from Neil Peart from the song "Free Will." Though there are those who think that life has nothing left to chance, a host of holy horrors to direct our aimless dance. A planet of playthings, we dance on the strings of powers we cannot perceive. The stars aren't aligned or the gods are malign. Blame is better to give than receive. You can choose a ready guide in some celestial voice. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. You can choose from phantom fears and kindness that can kill. I will choose a path that's clear. I choose free will. And what Neil Peart is saying, a path that's clear, that's God. And that's God's gift of free will, and not the phantoms, and not, and just going back up, you can choose from phantom fears and kindness that can kill. I'm sorry, but there are so many devils in sheep's clothing. Their kindness kills, and they're everywhere. They're everywhere. So with what's happening right now with Linwood and embracing certain people and stuff, or 107 doing certain shows, we don't know the full scope of this. But what I want to remind everyone, if you will, is this, that it's John Kennedy Jr. who ultimately has a plan, which is God's plan, and that this has to expose everything it does. So right now, if I got a if I got a phone call from 107 wanting to do a show right now, I might freak out in a bad way, not a good way, because it just seems like you don't want to get that phone call. So we don't know what's going on. Trust the plan, enjoy the show, and all will be revealed. But remember, John F. Kennedy Jr. is not going to leave any stone unturned. That's what's being done here. There's so much at play, and there's so many things that have to be shown to you. And remember what Q said back at the beginning. I know everyone remembers that one of the Q posts, Q said that there are no outside comms. Yeah, correct. But he also said, beware of those who look to profit from this movement. Just saying. Just saying. So with that, I love you guys. Justin, I love you. You were incredible. Marie, with your choppy internet, you were brilliant. You could have been even more brilliant if the signal was better. And I love you guys, and we'll be here next week. Chapter 7, going to be amazing. Like Justin said, it explains everything that's going on right now. It's going to blow you away. So thank you, Justin. Love you, man. Really do. Colleen loves you too.
Truly love y'all so much. Oh, hey, Colleen, love y'all. Oh, wow. What a gift. Yeah, so next week we're going to start with chapter 7. And again, I've said it before, it's hard to say how far we'll get each show. So just read chapter 7 onwards. We're going to get as far as we can. And please read it. Please read it. The show will blow you away, but the book should blow you while you're reading it. And the more we get into this, the better we kind of give you these gifts. It should be clicking. It should be clicking, and that's God speaking through you. That's God speaking to you. So make sure you're doing the work in all aspects of it and following along that way. And just for next week, we're going to discuss it. There's potentially we might be switching to Wednesday instead of Friday, but we'll make sure we post and keep y'all posted about that. But yeah, we've got our song decode coming up on Sunday. Really looking forward to that, getting back on the schedule with that. So yeah, love y'all so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.